What's up, everybody? I want to come on here and give you all the heads up. This episode you're about to listen to, it's a hard one. It's very dark and disturbing about a woman that has lost her children due to her husband sexually assaulting them. So, very crazy story, hard to listen to, and is one of these ones that is hard to make sense with how much corruption and what is going on with this court case and the judges and everybody involved. So if you're an attorney or a lawyer that want to take on a crazy case, check this episode out, give it a listen. And as always, for everybody, we love you and we appreciate the support.
Warning, the following content contains elements that are not suitable for some audiences. References to sexual assault, abuse, and potential trauma, including discussion of sexual violence. Viewer discretion is advised.
The world needs to hear what's going on with you.
I am living my worst nightmare. It's disgusting and horrific, and I don't know how to function knowing that I can't protect my kids. I was stripped fully. I have no say in my kids' lives.
They pulled your kids from you. They stole your children from you.
Family courts, our system, uses parents' love for their children as a means to make money. They are using our children.
This is the most fucked shit I've ever heard in my life. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
This is going to be a tough episode, just for everybody listening. Well, before we get into anything, we're going to send you home with a fresh loaf of bread.
Thank
I know
you.
You've had it before, and it's
Happy.
absolutely delicious from the girls. They got you a fresh whipped bread downstairs. Okay, Natalia. We got a pretty rough story to dive into today. It's your story that you're currently living a nightmare.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. This is why I wanted to have this conversation, because this is absolutely frightening of what you're battling right now with the family courts and everything.
Yes.
So, grew up in Utah.
Yes.
In the LDS community.
Yes.
You married a perfect little Mormon boy.
Mm-hmm.
What you thought.
Yes.
Life is great. You start a family with him. He moves you from Salt Lake area to Nebraska.
Missouri.
Missouri. Moves you to Missouri, where his family is located.
Yes.
In a small little town.
Mm-hmm.
During this time, you find out that your kid's father is sexually assaulting, abusing, manipulating your children. You take your children and go get the tests, the evidence, the facts, the documents, and you do it all, I feel, what I've read, done the right process as a mother.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
During this time, your baby's father, which is obviously still in the LDS community, his father is a higher ranking member of the Mormon church, which you feel has a lot of power and pull in this community with the judges and everything else that's going on. And during this whole entire nightmare you're living, you have lost full custody of your children.
Yes.
Okay. Which we need to make this make sense, because of what I've read and briefly talked about. This is wild to me. Like, this is our family court system at its best of doing what it does best, and that is destroying families and doing the wrong thing. So,
Yep.
Okay, Talia, let's dive into this. Who are you? Where are you from? And let's get to the story, because the world needs to hear what's going on with you.
Yeah, so like you said, I was born and raised in Utah, raised in the Mormon church, super strong. I was really it was my whole identity. I loved the church. I think mostly because I just love God and I love Jesus.
Okay.
And then I served a mission. I only lasted like 3 months, and then I came home early because of depression and anxiety, which was something I was diagnosed with as a teenager. So I recognized, I was like, I'm not doing well. I need help. Got help. Changed my medication, went to therapy, did all the things. 6 months after being home, I met my ex-husband, Richard. He's 6.5 years older than me. So he was older, and I think when we met, I just barely turned 20. So I was still super young, super naive. And The Mormon church pushes getting married early, like young, which I hate now. Now that I've been through what I've been through, it's like, oh my gosh, like figure out who you are, please, before you add another person into your life, because you have no idea what could happen. So yeah, we got married. And
how long did you guys date before getting married?
We got married 13 months after we met.
Okay.
But we would only hang out like once a week. So there wasn't a whole lot of like, I don't know, really getting to know a person. We got to know each other, but not.
Do you feel the marriage was rushed or pushed because of the church? Like in being in the LDS community, is it like this is something that has to happen, or was this at your guys' own pace?
It was mostly both.
Okay.
He had a year before, when we first met, he had one more year of his master's degree, and then he was going to move back to Missouri.
Okay.
So I knew, okay, if we really progress, then I will probably have to marry him so we can keep staying together and move to Missouri. So that's kind of what happened. It was a weird, just everything was weird, and I felt something was off, but I didn't really question it. I just was like, he served a mission. He's active Mormon, like his dad's in the stake presidency. He has this big family, and I had visited the family on 2 occasions. We flew out to West Plains, and so like I think I just talked myself into it. I was like, even though we don't have like a super like deep emotional bond, he's a good man, and I would be stupid if I didn't marry him. Okay. Kind of a thing.
Okay. So during this 18 months that you guys are dating, seeing each other once a month, I mean, you said things were kind of off. Were there, looking back on it now, were there red flags then, or was everything kind of just young, new, and you're just trying to figure out life together?
There were some things that like I could tell he was likely going to be a workaholic.
Okay.
He was on his phone a lot. There was just like something off with the energy. And back then I was not very aware energetically or spiritually or whatever. Like I had a connection with God, and I loved God and Jesus, and I still do. But I just believed people were who they said they were.
Got it.
So if someone says that they are this person and says these things, I believe them. Mm-hmm. I just assume people tell the truth. People are honest. And, he's just a super handsome, tall, athletic person who played rugby. He did all the things. He checked all the boxes. Yeah. And I just was like, what girl wouldn't want to be with him?
Got it.
It's like the dream.
Okay. So you guys go and get married.
Yeah.
Did you get married in the temple?
Yes.
Okay. So you go through that whole entire process. How long was it before he moved you to, I keep wanting to say Arkansas. Missouri. I don't know why Arkansas is ingrained in my head for this, but
no worries.
Missouri, sorry.
They're neighbors.
Same, right?
Yeah.
I bet you they're all like, it's not the same. Okay, so Missouri. So during this dating time, freshly newlyweds, you knew that you would be relocating to Missouri?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the plan. So we got married in Utah in the Draper Temple and immediately went on our honeymoon, and then everything had already been moved to Missouri.
Okay.
Not that I had a whole lot of stuff, but we moved to Missouri. And then, straight from the honeymoon, we went and stayed in his parents' basement.
How long were you guys at his house?
3 years.
You lived in the basement for 3 years?
Yep.
How was that?
Lonely, isolating. In my mind at the time, though, I was like, fine. I was like, it's okay. Just because, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, Richard's working so hard to get this treatment facility up and running, which is like a super great, wonderful thing for all these students and all these kids. And I'm just going to be the supportive wife and just trust that, like, in time we'll be able to get a house. It was a small town, and it wasn't really easy to meet people. And there weren't a lot of people my age in the, like, church group ward. It's called a ward, the local Mormon church area. And so I didn't have a whole lot of, like, friends. So it was isolating, but I got pregnant with my first 6 months into the marriage unplanned. And that became like my purpose. That became my like kind of my saving grace. Like I put everything into being a mom and I loved it.
Yeah.
So
that's why okay, so you're excited. You're starting this whole new life with your family. You're staying at the parent-in-law's house until he gets his, you said, treatment facility up and running.
Yes.
You guys get pregnant, and now how is life at this point for you? You said you were isolated, but now that you got the baby on the way, you're excited. I mean, are things starting to change, or is it all staying the same?
I had really bad prepartum illness and depression. So the pregnancy was really actually rough on me. So I was in bed a lot during the pregnancy, which was hard. But after I had my son, I felt way better and things got a lot better. So I think because of how like physically unwell I was, I didn't really pay much attention to marriage or anything. Like he was always gone working. So there wasn't a whole lot. Like,
are you getting close with his parents at this point? I mean, you're living with them. Do you see them every day, or is this like a basement apartment where you come and go on your own? What's the living conditions like? Because I mean, you're living with him for 3 years, so you have to get to know. Is his mom around during the day? Is his dad around? Like, how is this dynamic working?
Yeah, his dad is not around very often. He gets home late in the evenings from work, and his mom was around a lot, and we shared the kitchen. So I was upstairs anytime I needed to cook something, but I like to keep to myself. Like when I'm home, I'm home. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to socialize, but every time we would run into each other, like it was always like nice. Okay. It was always nice to see her. And we always got along. There was never any issues with her. After we had the baby, I know I could tell she raised 10 children.
Jeez. Okay.
And I could tell she was like past like being a mom and having like every time cousins would come over and she was the one just like obligated to watch them. I know I could see that it was hard. Like it was
she was checked out.
Exhausting for her.
Okay.
Not that she was checked out, but she was not like actively, like it wasn't what she wanted to do with her time. She was like, I did that whole thing. I'm not trying to raise my grandkids, you know?
Yeah, she's tired of kids. She wants to live her grandparent
10 kids,
life.
Of course, like I understand that. And so I would always tell Richard, like because anytime he was home, which wasn't a whole lot, he would watch the baby so that I could rest because I was on baby duty 24/7. And so while I would rest, he would take a call or go do his side job of Barnwood and Barnton and leave our child with his mom. And I would always be like, just come wake me up because I know it bothers her. Like, I know she doesn't want to raise our child.
So you're not trying to put more of a burden on your
my
mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I get that.
But that would never be the case. He would always leave our son with his mom. And so it became this thing that like I was the problem. I dumped my child on Sandy. That was like the family like rumor among his family. Like, oh, Sandy's watching the baby again.
Meanwhile, you're just trying to get a nap because you have no help.
Yeah.
Okay. I get that.
And also like I was around so like the majority of the time. 24/7, like I was around watching my child.
Yeah.
And so all of their weird little claims trying to be like she was an uninvolved deadbeat mom like are so false.
Okay.
And that infuriates me actually.
For sure. So, especially if you're not.
Yeah. Like I have no life. I have nowhere to go. Of course, like I want to be with my child. He is the only reason I have like he's my purpose.
Yeah. So you said that he's always gone. Actually, we'll wait. I want to know what he's doing later on. So how you have 2 children, correct?
Yes.
So now these little bickers or rumors or little inside the family bickering is going on because you're trying to get a nap in every now and then. Whenever he is home, he dumps it off with your mom, so that starts happening. And how long does this go on for? The 3 years, or was it toward the end, or what? How quick did that happen?
I feel like the family gossip was constant. If they're not talking about someone, they're talking about someone else.
Okay.
Just within their family.
Yeah.
So that's just like common within their family dynamic. And so I kind of didn't really like it pissed me off, but I didn't take it in the sense of like it's me against them. I was more like it's them against each other all the time.
Okay.
Very competitive, weird dynamic.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Well, it was just how long did that go on for? Did it start right away, or did that happen like toward the end of your 3 years of living there, or were you dealing with this the whole time?
It was like a few months after having my son.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which we had him, how long was that after we got married? I got pregnant 6 months in, and then 9 months from there, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said his dad is a higher ranking in the Mormon church.
Yes.
What does the dad do exactly?
So while we were still married and living with them, he was the stake president. And he was
stake president?
Yes.
Okay, can you explain a stake president?
Yes, so a stake president is someone who oversees all the little like community wards.
So a ward is a church.
Yes. A ward is like one little section of a surrounding area where they all are like neighbors to an extent.
So like let's take Ogden, Utah.
Yeah.
Would Ogden be its own ward? Or would there be multiple wards in Ogden?
There would be multiple wards and probably multiple stakes in Ogden because it's Utah. I mean, Utah is very...
Was that a bad example? I'm just trying to go off of areas that you know so that I can reference to. Let's just take your small town. Where are you guys living out there now?
We were living in West Plains.
Okay, so you take West Plains. That he overlooks just West Plains, or does it go out from there, neighboring communities and things like that, because there's not a lot of Mormon temples in the area, so he's overlooking areas.
And not just temples, church buildings as well.
Okay.
It all is based off of attending members.
Okay.
I think they base it off of tithe payers, which is weird.
I've heard this before.
It's like, okay, whoever's paying tithing is a real member. And I think
that makes sense to me.
So,
so his dad, your kid's husband, your kid's father is a stake president in the church. So he's in his own town and then overlooks the surrounding towns. That's where we're at with this.
Yeah, I think his stake, was like a 2-hour radius, I believe.
Okay. So he's got some pull in the church, and he's obviously people know him and who he is in his community.
Yes. And also he's the town surgeon, or he was. He owned a surgery center. He was the eye doctor. And I heard rumors from a few different people that he was financially tied to other locals. So,
okay.
I cannot confirm or deny that, but that was something that was shared specifically within the stake presidency, which were his people, the men who worked under him in his...
okay.
Yeah.
So just so I'm tracking, this dude is the stake president. He's the community surgeon and eye surgeon.
Yes.
And then also what you've heard rumors that he's connected to other businesses financially in his community. So this dude's well known in his little small town, because I come from a real small town. Everybody knows everybody if you have a business or you're anything. So what does your mother-in-law do? What is her tie to the community?
She... I don't really know. Like, she would always have a calling in the Mormon church, so she would help in the, like, church community, the local church community.
But her tithes don't run like his do?
No, she would help her sons with their Eagle Scout projects.
Okay.
So I know one of the things that became the usual was, like, this big trunk or treat event, and that was kind of her her thing that she would oversee.
So when you were out with these people, because obviously they're your parent-in-laws, when you go out in town with them, do people know who they are? Are they saying hi to everybody? Are they rubbing elbows with the community and everything like this?
Yeah, for sure. People know the Jones family. 10 kids, piercing blue, beautiful big eyes. You can't miss them. They all went to high school at different times. Everyone knows that family.
Okay.
And then just like Rob's the eye surgeon, and they are involved in the community. Very athletic. A lot of them are very athletic. Okay. So they were out and about a lot. Okay. And when we would go out, people would recognize them for sure.
Did you ever get introduced to anybody along that you later on thought like, oh shit, this is actually going against me? I mean, I'm just trying to paint this picture of who these people are. So they live in a small community. Obviously they have pull. He's a higher ranking guy at the Mormon church. He's got local businesses that everybody probably goes to him to see their eyes and get surgeries done. Is he connected with any other cops, anybody else in this town? Did you ever rub elbows with anybody within this community?
Yeah, I can think of 2 instances specifically. So we went to, we were newly married. We went to the state fair. Okay. And not the state fair. It was the West Plains town fair. Okay. And I remember we were with his parents, and they specifically introduced me to one of the local West Plains judges. So I shook hands with the judge, who was their friend. Got it. I don't remember who he was. I just remember he was a judge. And then there was another instance when they own a lot of property near West Plains, but it's a little bit out of the area. Okay. And the land they bought was right next to a good family friend of theirs, also owned land right next to them, neighboring. Okay. And the good friend owned this glamping ranch for horse riders. All right. And he passed away soon after I got married to Richard. And Richard and his family grew up riding horses there. Like, they were always on that land doing stuff. Rob wanted to buy that land. And his widowed wife, the passed away widowed wife, she still wanted to be a part of the camping community. Yep. I don't know all the details, but I remember specifically I went with her, the widowed wife, and then one of Richard's friends and his wife who came to work on that camping program thing. Okay. And then Richard and me, we all went to this community gathering. Right. I don't know what you would call it, but it's like, it was this gathering where they were giving this widowed woman an award for her ranch and for their camping thing. And I was just kind of like a bystander watching. I got to sit in, and all these different higher up organizations from West Plains were present.
What type of organizations?
Any that were like doing well, I feel like. So like restaurant owners or like law firms probably. I was this young naive girl that just was going for fun.
Okay, so they're like awarding her with her help to the community or whatever it may be in that area. So a lot of other local businesses came to support this?
I don't know that it was to support. I think it was more like they do this monthly maybe, where they just come together as like business owners. Okay. Who knows? I don't know what they do. I just remember going to that and thinking like, oh, is this like a normal thing? Like, do communities come together with like their more wealthy people who own actual like property to support the community? Okay. So now looking back, I'm like, that's a little suspicious. Okay. Now knowing what I know.
Okay. So as time goes on, how is life laying out for you? You got your first kid. How long into the marriage before you got pregnant again?
We got pregnant with her a little less than 2 years after our son.
Okay.
So
You're 2 years in, you get pregnant again. Are you out of the house by this point?
we moved out just like 2 months before I gave birth to our second.
Okay, so you guys finally are now on your own. You got your own place. How's life going for you at this point? How's your guys' marriage? How's the dynamic? How's everything going?
The dynamic is in my mind at the time fine.
Okay.
I just in my mind I'm thinking like, okay, he has this new treatment facility that's opening. He's going to be working all the time, even though he already was working all the time. The amount of time he was working upped. He was working 80 plus hours a week all the time. And then he would be on call if anything were to happen at night with the students. He would be the one to go or like probably take them to the hospital or whatever. So he was not around very often, but I loved being at home, and I loved being in my own little house with my kids, and we had our routine, and we would go on walks and just play outside all the time, and it was, I miss it.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sorry that you got to relive this right now. Okay, so life is going on. It's his treatment. You said he has a treatment facility.
Yes.
What is this treatment facility?
It is a housing unit for students. So they're inpatients. They're living on the property in these little teeny dorms. And these students are minors, so anywhere from the ages, I believe it's 12 to 18 or maybe 21. And most of them are victims of abuse or have substance abuse issues. And so they're vulnerable minors who come live in this facility. They do group therapy. They do family therapy on Zoom. They do schooling from the computers, and then they do like chores and stuff. They spend time with the horses, and I think they have sheep and goats. So
how did he? This is your children's father's facility. So this is your ex's facility. Did he build this or did he buy this? How does he? Where did this facility come from?
Yeah, so it's kind of a process. So he was an intern in Utah for a facility in Utah.
Okay.
That facility in Utah sistered his facility. So they were under a 3-year contract that they would help facilitate students. They would help advertise for his facility so that he was ensured that he would have students coming in.
So they're filtering, they're just feeding him clients. Are they Mormon? Is this Mormon based or is this for anybody?
Technically it's for anybody, but they are Mormons.
Okay.
So he had that was a huge help in starting the facility, but then also his dad owned that property I told you about.
Okay. And that's where they built the facility.
They built the facility on that property, and his dad funded. I'm pretty sure his dad funded. He assisted in the loan funding, and his dad legally owns 51%, and then Richard owns 49%.
Okay, all right. So this guy that has molested your children owns a facility that helps rehabilitate children that have been molested and have drug abuse problems, right? And am I tracking that correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That makes no sense to me. So, I'm just trying to put these pieces together.
Welcome to America.
Right? Okay, so this guy you were married to, you have 2 children. He now has a rehab facility on his dad's place that help rehab children that have been molested, abused, drug abuse. that's going on. That's his business that he's running. And now where are we at with you? How far into his new facilities going on and all this do you find out that this guy is actually molesting your children?
I didn't find out about the molestation. My children didn't disclose anything until it was December 8th of 2023.
Okay.
So we got married in 2017.
17, okay.
So
you're 6 years in. Okay, so you're 6 years into your marriage, roughly.
Well, we had started the divorce process. That's the thing. We had started. So going back, out of nowhere, I'm big on my relationship with God and like receiving personal revelation.
Okay.
I was saying a prayer one night in April of 2021. And during that prayer, I felt God was like, you need to divorce Richard. There are things he will never be honest with you about. And I hated hearing that, and I didn't want to. And it didn't make sense to me. But I finally faced Richard 2 weeks later and was like, hey, this happened, and I feel like we need to get a divorce. And I don't think I even specified in how I felt like God revealed to me that he was being dishonest. It was more so that like I feel like this needs to happen.
Okay.
He asked if we could do couples therapy, which we did. So we did couples therapy for about 5 or 6 months, and the church bishop, the Mormon church local bishop, funded our couples therapy, which was not cheap, and it was twice a month. And
who's your therapist? Is this a third-party therapist, or is this given to you through the church?
No, she was someone we found.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no ties to the church on this. All right.
No.
Okay, so you're going through therapy. How did he take the news that you wanted a divorce?
He was very blindsided.
Okay.
I'd never seen him that emotional before about anything. It was weird. Not like for me at the time, I was like, oh, he really loves me. He really wants me to be his companion in life. Like, this sucks. Like, of course, yes, let's do couples therapy.
So this is the first time in your relationship. Are you thinking that he's like actually fighting and wants this? Is this what you're feeling for the first time, or no? Or is this just because you said you were blindsided with this? So is this he doesn't ever show emotion prior to this? Has he been pretty dry? Then now that you bring up the divorce, now he's trying? Is this what you're getting at?
Yeah, we always had a lack in emotional communication and in connection.
Okay.
It was mostly like, okay, you're the husband, I'm the wife, you work all the time, I take care of the kids.
Okay.
There's not really anything else to it.
There was nothing in between for you guys.
Yeah, we weren't really friends.
So when you're praying and you said you get the word and you feel that you need to get a divorce, were there signs at this point, or is it just a disconnection? You're just not feeling it. So there's nothing like he's not putting his hands on you. There's no, he's not drinking and doing all this crazy shit and cheating on you and all this other stuff, right?
Yeah, nothing like that.
I'm just trying to get this picture.
Nothing like that. I was like, yeah, we don't have a great relationship, but it's not that bad. Like, I just assumed things were fine. And so that came out of left field for me.
Okay.
It didn't make sense in my mind.
All right.
We did 6 months or whatever of therapy. And then during a therapy session, I realized, oh my gosh, like, there is no accountability in this man. Like, he's not taking accountability. He always had an excuse, and it was always like returned back onto me.
Okay.
And so in my mind, I'm like reliving my parents' marriage, because that's how my parents' marriage was. And I never wanted to have that kind of a relationship, because my parents' marriage was always tumultuous.
All right.
And I promised myself, like, I'm not going to do that to my kids. I'm not going to do that to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so as soon as that happened and I had that epiphany, I was like, no, like, we need to follow through with the divorce. And so he actually hurried really quick and filed. I think he was afraid I was going to take the kids to Utah and file there. So he filed really quickly after that. And that opened the door to like so many more epiphanies.
What epiphanies?
Initially I was hoping we wouldn't have to go through like attorneys and everything, and we could agree on everything, but that was not the case. So we got attorneys, and my attorney was requesting all of these documents, like the deed to our house and titles of our cars and everything. And that was the first time I'd ever reviewed any of those documents.
Okay.
I never was a part of any of that stuff financially.
Okay.
And I discovered that on all of the titles of our cars, even the car that I drive, that was like my car. I don't own it. I'm not an owner of that vehicle. And then I saw the title of our house, and on that document, it has Richard's father's name listed as a 50% owner. Richard owns a fourth, and I own a fourth. And my parents paid the down payment of that house, and my parents and I were never informed that that was going to be the case. They never let us in to know that Rob was going to own half of this house.
And Rob put nothing down on the house?
No, he was the co-signer, but he didn't put any money on it.
Okay.
But he owns half of it.
Got it.
And that to me was so weird. And when I confronted Richard, I was like, Rob is on the title of our house and he owns 50% of it. And I remember Richard was like, we had no idea that that was going to be the case. Like, that's not... Like, he denied it.
He had to have been there for closing statements and signing it. Yeah, no, that doesn't work that way. You don't just happen to put somebody's name on a title of a home. Kind of a big purchase, and there's a lot of paperwork to sign. And all agreeing parties need to be there to sign paperwork.
And I was there and I signed, but they told me, and Rob was there, and so was Sandy. Both of the parents were there. And I didn't think anything of it because I was told they are co-signing. So because they're co-signing, they're present. But now looking back, Sandy was being weird. Her energy was weird that day. And I was like, why? What's weird? Like, we're getting a house.
And come to find out that they took half the house, or own half the house.
Yeah.
Okay, so the divorce gets filed. Now you start finding these little weird things. The deeds, the titles, everything. His dad is on everything or owns half of everything. So now this all comes out. Does that help solidify your decision to start this divorce process? Or are you just like, oh, holy shit, like, okay, this is all weird. This is pointing in the right direction?
I already felt solid in the decision of the divorce.
Okay.
Even though we still lived together while we were separated, he refused to move out. So there were times where I would like miss him and be sad. Mm-hmm. And we would think, okay, maybe we'll work through this. But I could not ignore like the dishonesty. And that piqued my interest in thinking like, okay, what else are they lying about? What else have I been lied about? Mm-hmm. And so I did more digging after I discovered those documents.
Did you find anything else more?
Yes.
What'd you find?
I found some pretty, we won't get into the graphics of it all, but I found some pretty horrifying private messages between him and some of his friends joking about pedophilia and also specifically, explicitly sexualizing both of our minor children. As a joke, thinking it's funny, ha ha ha, let's joke about pedophilia on multiple occasions. And he also specifically joked in one of his little memes that he sent to a friend, he joked specifically about getting caught by Child Protective Services with one of his students. Not one of them, but with his students. That was a joke. That was a joke he sent. Ha ha ha, I'm going to get caught by CPS molesting my students.
And he's joking about this with one of his buddies.
Yep.
This is prior to you finding out that he had molested your children.
Yes.
Okay, so that's got to be weird to find.
And I have the receipts. I have all the receipts, and so does law enforcement. So do all these people who have investigated all this crap.
Okay, so you discover these text messages between your ex and one of his buddies joking about pedophilia with kids.
A few different buddies, but yeah.
A few different buddies?
Yes.
Is this in a group chat or are they all individually sent?
Well, there was the group chat, which was a bunch of his buddies who are all married Mormons, who all just joke about really nasty, weird crap. A lot of it that he would send were memes about like weird, graphic, gay stuff.
Okay.
But then also like bestiality stuff, and then pedophilic stuff. And then people in real time dying either by gunshot or falling bad on their neck or something. Just like weird, icky stuff that like messes with your mind.
Dark shit.
Yes. And it was like maybe 5 messages a day he was sending.
Of this type of stuff?
Yes.
So there's a lot of content being sent.
Years of content.
I'm trying to like, as a dude, I'm trying to just, I mean, I've been in a lot of group chats and things like that. And I obviously, you know, me being a vet, will send some war footage and things like that. But I'm trying to ever think if anybody has ever sent anything bestiality or even kid related. And I'm in some group chat, not anymore. I'm not even in one single group chat anymore. But I don't think I've ever had anybody send me anything like that. And I've been in some group chats with pretty fucked up dudes.
Yeah.
So that's not normal, in my opinion.
It's not, no.
In my opinion, that's not normal. There's no joking about pedophilia. You're either for it or you're against it. There's no middle ground. There's no dipping a toe into that world with children. There is a fucking solid ass line.
Yes.
You're either 100% against it or you're 100% for it. There's no like, oh, this is funny. This is some kid shit. There's none of that, in my opinion.
No, like it lights a fire in me to like the point of I want to throw up and I want to like.
Yeah. So when you find these graphic child pornography, pedophilia, joking, according to your ex, text messages with all his buddies, what did that register in you? What's going through your mind at this point? And how did you find them?
So he never changed his login to his social media.
Okay.
And we were still living in the same house.
Okay. So
I logged into his social media and that's where I saw all these messages. It was in his Instagram private messaging.
What type of gay shit is he sending? Is it like, cause I have to ask because me being in the military, the gayest shit I've ever seen was in the military.
Yeah.
Just especially Marines. There's always a lot of ass grab stuff. There are some gay shit the dudes will send, joking wise, but what triggered that for you? I remember one, I don't want to get into the graphics of it, but like stuff about like butt plugs getting stuck inside of someone. And if you want to chop that off, you can. No, we're good.
He had this one specific profile of this man who would always like do weird sexual stuff, like weird behavior. Like that's the only content this guy would post. Like weird.
And so he was
like not even like sexy, like like what's the name? That one movie that everyone jokes about of all the men dancing with.
Is it a book and they turned it into a movie?
I don't know, but it's a famous.
The one with Channing
Tatum. Thank you. Yeah, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. It wasn't even that stuff. It was like weird, and the guy posting these videos was not like attractive. He was like this short, stubby, and his face was kind of weird. It was uncomfortable. It wasn't like, oh wow, that's so attractive, like funny. It was like weird.
Was it one time or did you find multiple of this guy?
No, that was like his favorite memer to send to his group, his buddies, was that guy on constant, just like constantly.
So he has a thing for this dude.
Probably. I don't know. But the amount of stuff, I remember I would like read through to try and screenshot anything that I thought was concerning to share with my attorney for a good 2 weeks. And I remember feeling so icky for those 2 weeks. Like I couldn't even like function normal. Even though it was like for like an hour to 2 hours of scrolling because it's years and years of gross crap.
Yeah.
And some of the things I found were horrifying.
You got 2 years that you're going back through and trying to go through this dude's stuff, and you're just uncovering just filth in his shit. Which, I mean, a lot of guys are going to have fucked up stuff. I mean, I guess we all do, but not anything kid related. That's 100% out of the question. And you said you're finding really weird gay shit that he's sending to.
Yeah.
And
the animal stuff.
Oh, didn't even touch on that.
Well, there was one I remember. There was a llama doing something that was sexualized.
Okay.
And one of Richard's responses with that meme that he sent was specific. Like, he sends the meme and then he says, "Ooh, we got to get this llama for our students at the center."
Okay. So this dude,
Yeah.
he's
relating sexual weird animal crap to his facility students.
to his minors.
Like, that's a joke.
That have already been sexually abused at some point in their life.
Some of them.
Sexually,
yes.
mentally, drug addicts. These kids all come from a very hurt background.
Yes.
And your ex is now making references and jokes about bestiality, gay shit, kid shit about these students.
Yes. There were a few specifically joking about his facility students.
Okay.
And then there were jokes specifically joking about, "I'm on that new pedophilic train. Like, that's the new train. Like, I'm on that new train." Or there was one joke. Yeah. And then there was one joking about when the big cathedral in Europe was burnt down. I think it was in Paris.
Okay.
There was a meme of that building, and on it said, "When the police come and you have to get rid of your child porn stash." So he sends that, and after he sent that, he says, "Ha ha ha, too far maybe, but oh well."
Ugh,
Joking.
I'm starting to like breathe heavily. Like there's like I said, there's no gray. There's zero gray area in between with child pedophilia, child anything.
No.
Okay. Oh God. Okay. So all this is out. This is just during your divorce process. You haven't even discovered what he's done to your children yet.
Correct.
Okay, so now that you have gone through, you're seeing your ex or current husband at the time. You're scrolling through his DMs. You're seeing pedophilia jokes, bestiality jokes and memes, gay jokes and memes. So you have
people dying.
People
like,
die. So you're finding like a dark side to your husband at this point,
yes,
while you're in the process of starting this divorce.
Yes.
What do you do? What's your thought process at this point? Like, what the hell's going through your mind after finding all this?
Well, initially I'm thinking, okay, he is like mentally not okay.
For sure. Something
is very off. Like normal healthy men or women don't. This is not funny to them.
Okay.
You don't joke about this. I remember sending it to a few like close family members, and also I sent all of it to my attorney at the time. And I was like, what do I do? Like, do I go to the police? How do I move forward?
Okay.
And my attorney at the time basically said, this stuff is incredibly concerning and we can bring it up in court, but it's not hard evidence that he's actually committing a crime. Which, knowing what I know now, if I was the attorney over the case, I would have absolutely submitted that and been like, we are going to order this man to have a psychosexual evaluation.
And for anybody listening, I recently found this out from talking about previous guests. A psychosexual evaluation is where they sit you down, they run you through a series of questions, and to see your responses on how likely you are to reoffend or offend, or how likely you are to be into kid shit in a way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you turn all this evidence in. Obviously, with how if we're going to go off the legal system, he technically hasn't committed any crime. But
yes,
there's no middle area on child pornography or pedophilia. I want to make that so clear. I
agree.
Because there's no excuse. I especially the way that our country is going, and they're trying to like make things normal.
Ugh.
There's no fucking normal to anything with children.
No.
And so this is where like I stand such a hard ground on that. Like, no, we're not. There's no joking about children, especially pedophilia and making comments to kids that are in a facility. So you turn all this in. You kind of get shot down. Your attorney collects it as evidence, I guess, if it's ever going to get used. She doesn't use it in court. Where do you go from here? What's your next step as far as the process of divorce? How far into this are you?
So we tried mediation. That got nowhere. I wanted to relocate to Utah. I had no support in Missouri. After the divorce process happened, it felt like I had even less support from people that I thought were my friends.
Okay.
So I was pushing. Initially, I wanted to relocate to Springfield. That's what I asked Richard. I was like, what if I moved to Springfield? It's like an hour, 45 minutes away from West Plains. There's way more work opportunity. I can be out of your little town that knows all the Joneses, and I can start fresh, and we can be close, and we can co-parent, do like a hybrid homeschooling or just homeschooling situation, blah, blah, blah. He wouldn't budge on anything. If I wanted to see my kids 50% of the time, I had to live in West Plains.
Okay.
So after mediation, I was like, okay, he's not going to compromise on anything. So when we went to our very first trial, it was January of 2023. We didn't present any of the weird, grody messages.
Why?
My attorney didn't feel like it was necessary.
And your attorney's a local to this town, or where did you find your attorney?
The attorney that I had was like an hour away from the town.
Okay, so she doesn't have ties to this community?
I had a new attorney. My previous attorney that I had, I realized she was overcharging me, and there were other clients that she was charging way less because of Google reviews.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't like that. So I was like, I'm going to find a new attorney who's not going to like overcharge me and be shady.
Okay.
I found this one man who was actually a great attorney, but he also didn't feel like we had any substantiation in presenting those messages.
Okay.
That's not the route I would have taken. But at the time, I was this young, naive girl. I trusted all attorneys. I was like, attorneys are here to help you.
Yeah, right.
They have your best interest at heart.
Yeah.
They're not just going to bleed you dry.
Wrong.
He was, I mean, in our initial trial, it went well. And I had multiple family members there and a local friend there. And everyone felt like, okay, yeah, like there's no reason that you won't be able to relocate with the children and have joint custody with Richard. Even Richard's proposed judgment with his attorney was that I would relocate to Utah.
Okay.
But that I would have way less time with the kids.
Okay.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, the judge is going to come out with some sort of middle ground. I'll get to relocate to Utah, even if it's just for like 6 months to a year where I can like reground, stay with my parents, get my feet, like whatever that terminology is.
Get your feet underneath you and
whatever, yeah.
Okay.
And so that was the plan. And I, like a few weeks after trial, we didn't have the judgment yet. And so my assumption was, okay, in like 2 months max, we'll hear from the judge and we'll have our whole custody arrangement and everything. So I was like, okay, I'm going to relocate to Utah and get things ready to go. And I'll visit the kids as frequently as I can afford.
Okay.
And a week after I relocated to Utah, I went back to Missouri and spent a whole week with my kids, and I FaceTime them every day. And then like 3 weeks later, I went to Missouri again and visited them for another week. Still nothing from the judge. And then like 4 weeks later, I went and visited them again. Still nothing from the judge. And so then I had everything ready to move back to Missouri because we hadn't heard from the judge, which was super weird.
Okay.
I hated living away from my kids.
Yep.
I literally had my housing and my job ready. Everything was ready to move back. And Richard said, no, stay in Utah and I'll pay for all travel costs. We'll split summer. So I was like, okay. So we split summer. So I got the kids half of the summer in Utah. And then once summer was over, I was like, okay, I'm moving back to Missouri because we still haven't heard from this judge, which was so weird. Weird.
So this judge that you're waiting to hear on, this is a local judge.
Yes.
In your town.
He technically was from Carter County, so it's a neighboring county.
Okay.
But he used to actively work as a West Plains judge. So he was the judge over our case.
Okay, so him and your father-in-law clearly probably know each other.
I have no idea.
Okay. All right. I'm going to make that assumption, which I shouldn't, but okay, so you moved to Utah thinking this judge was going to be able to mediate or make a decision.
Case, it's not hard, yeah.
But the judge drags us out. You end up having to split summer with him. So now you've been away visiting your kids, separated from your kids for a few months now.
Yes.
So you're going back and forth from Utah to Missouri. Now your ex is offering to pay for your travel. If he gets kids half the summer, you get to half the summer. You think that's great. You move through the summer comes and goes. Now you're moving back to Missouri to be back with your kids.
Yes.
Excuse me, because the judge still hasn't made a judgment decision yet, and now it's been months.
Yes.
What was, you said is Robert?
Richard,
sorry.
Richard.
Richard. So Richard, now your ex, what was his response now that you're moving back?
So I let him know, hey, I'm moving back. And he was like, well, the judge is going to give us a decision any minute. Like, he's going to give us a verdict any minute. Like,
Just stay. Is that what he's trying to convince you to do?
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, well, in a few weeks I'll be moving. And then I actually had a phone call with my, like, quote unquote new attorney, because my previous attorney was promoted to becoming a judge.
Okay.
While we were waiting for this judge to give us a verdict.
All right.
I spoke with my new attorney to try and be like, hey, like, I'm moving back, like, all this stuff. And he was, whatever, that's not that important. But I moved back, and Richard's response was definitely not for it. He did not want me to move back.
Okay.
He was trying to say, the judge is going to give us a verdict, stay in Utah, blah, blah, blah. But I was done living away from my kids.
How long were you away from, what was the period that you were away from your kids? From when you moved from Missouri back to Utah, then back to Missouri, what was that time frame?
Yeah, so trial was January 17th of 2023. Okay. I moved, I think it was like January 30th.
Okay.
To Utah.
January 30th, okay.
And then I officially moved back to Missouri in August of that same year.
Okay, so 6 months. You were going back and forth roughly. 6 months back and forth, seeing your kids every few weeks, FaceTiming every night.
And he traveled. He actually paid for the kids to come to Utah over the summer. So the kids were with me over the summer. Okay. Half summer, and then
Okay, so 6 months you're away from your kids, and you say, "Screw this! I'm getting back to my kids." Yes. And you move back to his town.
No, I moved to Springfield.
Okay, so you go to Springfield where you originally wanted to go.
Yes.
So you get a place in Springfield?
Yes.
All right. Have you heard anything from the judge at this point?
Nothing.
So it's been over 6 months and you haven't had anything from the judge?
No.
Is this normal?
No.
Okay. How long did your lawyer say?
They're supposed to have 90 days. Like, that is the cap. You have 90 days to submit your judgment.
Okay, now we're 6 months. Over 6 months.
Yes.
Are you reaching out to the courts? Are you trying to get a hold of this judge? Like, what's the process of going on? Like, are you losing your mind at this point?
Both of our attorneys were submitting motions to have the judge submit his judgment.
Okay.
On multiple occasions.
Okay. What was the response?
As far as I remember, nothing. There was no response. There just was never a judgment.
That's weird.
It's weird. I don't understand. And sometimes looking back, I'm like, it's just, there's so much mind games going on.
Do you remember this judge's name?
Yes, Stephen Linksweiler.
Judge Stephen Linksweiler?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's actually now suspended for a year by Supreme Court for malpractice. He was suspended.
Oh my God. Okay. Now, okay.
Yes.
Make that make sense.
Yes. And his suspension happened, we got judgment September. We had another trial in August. And his judgment was submitted September 22nd of this last year. And then he was suspended October 31st.
So this judge that never cut you
any slack ever
has now been suspended for malpractice?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, I want to get to that. So now you're back in Springfield, Missouri.
Yep.
You got your own place.
Yep.
You're closer to your kids.
Yes.
When does this all turn and go bad?
Yeah, so we were doing our own little custody arrangement because there was nothing in the courts. There was no custody arrangement. And so Richard was super ridiculous and said, I don't want our son to miss any preschool. It was his first year of preschool. He doesn't want him to miss any school to spend half time with me where I could literally homeschool preschool. So I was only able to see my kids on weekends. That's all he would agree to. So I got to see my kids on the weekends.
How does he have all this power?
He doesn't, but I would roll over.
Okay, so
I just would roll
you're
over.
At fault. I'm not.
It is me at fault.
Okay.
It absolutely is me at fault.
So you're agreeing to this shit.
I don't want to argue, and I want to keep the peace.
Okay.
And I also didn't really believe in my authority, my own authority as the mom.
Okay.
To just demand, no, I'm picking up my kids at this time, and they're going to be with me at this time to this time.
Okay.
So that was that. And it was into December. So that was the arrangement from August until December. And then it was December 9th or 8th. It might have been the 8th. I get the dates mixed up. But I pick up my children on a Friday evening at the same normal place we meet halfway. And we get home to my apartment. And that's when my son gave his first ever disclosure.
How did you get your son? You bring him home. How is their demeanor? How's their body language? Does everything seem normal to you?
Yeah, they both seemed totally fine. We had a new kitten. So we were just playing with the kitten and it was Christmas time. So we had our little Christmas decorations. It was just like normal, excited to be home with mom. And it was while we were getting ready for bed and he's changing into his pajamas. And that's the trigger. That triggered his thought.
Okay. What was said prior to this? Was it just normal every day?
Everything was normal. We were getting ready for bed and I think it might have actually been triggered because I got a few new clothes for them. Richard wouldn't supply me any clothes that he packed for the kids. Mm-hmm. He wanted back home. Okay. So I went out and bought clothes and I would thrift stuff a lot. I love to thrift. Okay. One of the things I found was like these really nice long johns. And I was like, okay, great. These will be good pajamas. Mm-hmm. And he was so fascinated with them.
Your son?
My son.
Okay.
And I think that might have triggered. He was on top of the bed getting changed into his jammies and yeah. I think something along those lines probably triggered the thought.
Of what? What was said? Or how did this come out? What did your son say?
He said, we dance naked with daddy, but we can't tell you or else daddy's going to hit you in the face with a pan so hard that your face is going to bleed for a week. And he'll kick you so hard in your butt that you won't be able to walk anymore. And he was 5 years old at the time, and he's a very tender-hearted, not, like, easily afraid little boy.
Okay.
He would never, most children, I don't think any normal, healthy child would think of one of their parents in that kind of a way.
Now, has your ex ever put hands on you before?
No.
Okay, so it's not like he's seen this. It's not like he's witnessed anything along these lines.
No.
I feel like that's pretty graphic for a 5-year-old just to come up with. Like, that had to have been shown or
and
heard. And
explicitly, like, your face is going to bleed for a week. Like, he's 5 years old. I don't think he even knows what a week is.
Valid. Okay. So he says this to you. What is your response? Like,
That was a huge red flag for me. That was so out of pocket for him. I was like, oh my gosh. So I remained calm. But in my mind, I'm like, red alarms, like worst case scenario. I already had seen those messages.
Clearly, this dude has a pretty dark
He's got an issue, and now my kids are not safe. They're dancing naked with their dad, and their dad is telling them threats. If they tell mom, these are the threats. So I grabbed my phone and I hit record and like set my phone on the dresser. And I'm trying to like be normal and like keep having like regular conversations. And then in the video you can hear it too. And I say, so what was it that Dad told you not to tell me so that I won't tell him, basically? Okay. And then he repeated it all
on video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then later that night, he had to go potty, and my son has never been constipated with me. Okay. In all of the time that I've been with him, he's never been constipated.
Okay.
And he was severely, severely constipated. And when he finally passed a stool, it was just this big ball with blood in it. And he was holding his lower back because his back hurt. He said, "My back hurts." And he tried to stand up from the toilet, and he couldn't, and he fell back onto the toilet, and I had to carry him to bed. And as soon as my kids were asleep, I immediately called my mom, and I was like, "Mom, something really bad has happened, and I'm going to take my kids to the ER to be checked."
What's going through your mind at this point?
My son has been raped. The whole time he's on the toilet too, he's like trying to smile, and he's in pain, and he's holding his back. I remember when I was a little girl, and if I was constipated, it was terrifying for me. I would scream cry anytime I was constipated, and he just was trying to smile. Like he was trying to give off that everything was fine.
This might be an ignorant question on my behalf, but is that like a sign of rape, is constipation for children? I don't know. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So is your oh my God, I couldn't even imagine being in your shoes right now. So this all goes down. Are you initially thinking rape? Are you thinking that your ex is molesting your children at this point? Like what did your mind immediately go to that, or are you trying to like just figure out what's wrong with your son? Like,
with what he had said earlier and with the content I have seen, and knowing he's never been constipated before, and the demeanor he had, like normally when my child is in pain, he is crying.
Okay.
He is expressing he's in pain.
And you're watching him put like this fake smile, like try to act, or was it just...
Yes, and he's holding his back in pain, and he says, "My back hurts," and then he can't even stand up, and he won't cry to me because he's hurting. Like a normal situation for my son when he's in pain is he will cry to me. And he will express that emotion with the pain. So I knew all of the information that I had. I felt it in my bones. My son was either raped or something was put up inside of him.
Okay. So you now know you need to go to the hospital.
Yes.
How long did you wait to go to the hospital?
I went the next morning.
Okay. You went straight the next morning.
Yes.
All right, good. Okay.
I didn't bathe my kids. I was like, we're going to go get checked. They're going to do all the tests. They're going to take all the fluids and all the things, and we're going to be safe, and nothing is ever going to happen ever again.
Okay. So
that was in my mind. That's what I figured.
So you get to the hospital. Are you worried and concerned about your daughter at this point? So if he's 5, she's 3-ish at this point?
Yeah, she was 3.
Okay.
And I was concerned about her as well, because when my son mentioned the dancing, he said it collective, like we.
Okay.
But I wasn't aware of if or any of that happened to her explicitly until while we were at the ER, she had to go potty. And so when I took her to the bathroom, she started crying and shaking, refusing, like, "I don't want to go poop. I don't want to go poop." And that's never happened before.
Okay, so now you have both of your children are having problems using the
Yes.
restroom, going number 2, which is a huge sign
Yes.
That something has been
Something's happened.
been put inside of them. Okay.
Yes.
So now that raises a huge red flag for you.
Yes.
You're at the hospital, so you're like,
Yes.
holy shit, are you bringing this up to the nurses? Like, are they saying anything? Like, what's the conversation going about? Or when you go at that level to a hospital, is it like a protocol? I mean, what happens when you take your children to the hospital?
So I recommend don't assume these people have any idea what they're doing.
Okay.
Just assume they're not going to be thorough. Just assume they're not going to ask you questions, because I went in there assuming they had this perfect protocol. I went in assuming they would ask me what they needed to know. I was in complete shock. I am living my worst nightmare finding out what's happened to my kids.
Okay.
I can't function. Like,
Rightfully so.
I couldn't think straight. I was trying to just be calm so that my kids couldn't sense that I was so out of whack.
Okay.
So looking back, the things I did wrong, I did not explicitly specify, hey, my daughter was just scream crying in front of your nurse's desk right there that I'm sure they all could hear. I didn't specify that whole experience of what happened. I didn't specify that their privates were swollen and itchy, like they were constantly itching.
Okay.
I didn't specify. I don't even remember if I specified all of the events that happened the night before. I know I specified the toilet situation, but honestly, I just went in saying my children have been sexually abused and I need them to get all the tests and be like the rape check or whatever.
Okay.
And I just assumed they had a protocol for it.
I feel like I would think the same thing. Yeah.
And I didn't really offer up any information other than that. I just assumed, okay, they have a protocol. They're going to ask me what they need to know. I'm just going to try and not lose my mind and stay calm for my kids.
For sure. Okay. Okay. I'm tracking on that. I feel like, I mean, even if you did tell them everything, they're not law enforcement. It's not like they're documenting this. Even if you told them all the details in the world, I feel that shouldn't change how they test and go through and document a rape kit or whatever the test is. That shouldn't change anything.
That's what
in my opinion.
Well, yeah, that's
I don't
what I
know
figured.
Truly how it goes. Yeah, I feel like if you're like, hey, my child has been assaulted in any way, it should be from top to bottom all the same.
Yeah.
How long? So now you take your kids to the hospital because you're pretty sure that their father is molesting them. You take them to the hospital. How long till you go to the cops?
So while we were in the hospital, they had an officer come and file a report.
Okay.
I don't know if he ever actually submitted that file or not, to be honest, because what I was directed was that law enforcement was going to contact the Children's Advocacy Center where they would schedule an appointment for my children to be seen. And I was told that hospital people don't do a whole lot of testing with minor children. They have these special facilities. The Children's Advocacy Center was their special facility that does all the thorough medical examinations and forensic interviews.
Okay.
So all that the ER doctor did was like a super duper quick, just checking.
Bruises, marks.
Yeah. Super quick.
Do they swab anything?
No
test
swabs.
anything?
No swabs, nothing. Nothing. It was just so quick. He barely took their pants off, looked front and back really quick, and then put their pants back on. It was just super quick. Not really much of anything.
Not very thorough?
No.
Okay, so now you're told to go to the Children's Advocacy Center,
Yes.
whatever it may. Okay, so how you leave the hospital and go straight there, or what?
So it was a Saturday.
Okay.
So apparently the Advocacy Center is only open Monday to Friday, which is so shady.
Yeah. Okay.
And so the doctor said that law enforcement submitted your appointment, so you just go to the Advocacy Center 8 a.m. soon as they open on Monday, unless you get a call and they're able to see them sooner, which that never happened.
Okay.
So we go home, And no, we did not go home. We went to my boyfriend at the time's house.
Okay.
He had an extra bedroom where his daughter stayed, and he got them a bunk bed, and we just stayed there in hiding.
Okay.
Because I didn't want Richard to show up at the apartment or anything. And the next day, so it was Saturday, the next day my daughter it was the same interaction. She had to go poop and she cried. She did not want to. And I got my phone and hit record and set my phone on the sink and was just asking her, why don't you want to go poop? Why don't you want to go poop? And then she said, Dad put something in my bum. Like bawling.
Okay. So now your daughter's now confessing to something being put inside of her by her dad.
Yes.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine what is going through your mind at this point.
And I forgot the day before, while we were walking into the emergency room, my son randomly also disclosed. He said, Daddy and Opa put medicine in our bum and it's really inappropriate and a secret.
Put medicine in there?
Yeah, in their bums.
What are you?
That it's really inappropriate and a secret.
Are you thinking it?
I didn't know what he meant at the time, but fast forwarding about a year later, we had a supervised visit, and he brought up medicine in the context that a mommy and a daddy have a baby by the daddy putting his medicine into the mommy.
Oh my God. Okay, so I'm so sorry you gotta deal with this shit.
My daughter on different occasions mentioned medicine as well, saying that Daddy put medicine in her hair, which if you look into SRA, weird, dark, evil stuff, that is a common theme.
All right.
And it tracks. If you don't, it's not fun. It's not a fun rabbit hole to look into, but there's a book called Paper Dolls, and it's little girls who were abused. And I haven't read the book, but I know that the little girls describe it as they were being peed on. It's a common thing with pedophiles.
On kids in their hair?
Yeah.
It's like a marking.
Yep. Evil. Throw up. Gross.
So now that both of your kids have admitted to their dad, and you said their grandpa as well?
Yes.
Have put medicine in them and in their hair.
Well, the hair comment was later on.
Yeah, later on.
But yeah.
Okay. My mind is going in so many different places right now.
Do you want me to keep playing the chronological?
I mean, you can go in wherever you want to go with this. I'm just trying to figure out. I'm just putting pieces together. So now that you have... Okay, so, yeah, I guess we'll just stay straight on track. Bring up anything you need to bring up throughout this. So it's Monday. You take your kids to the Children's Advocacy Center now?
Yes.
Okay.
Really quick, with my daughter's disclosure while she was going potty, she was incredibly emotional. One thing she offered up completely on her own, she offered up that Dad put something in her bum. And then I asked immediately, did anyone else? So my son the day before mentioned his Opa and Daddy doing something very inappropriate and it's a secret. So I asked, and at the time they were living at his parents' house. Even though we owned a house, he moved in with his parents. So they're living at their Oma and Opa's house. My son already has disclosed that Opa and his dad both did something inappropriate, put it up their bums, and it's a secret. So I asked her after she says Dad put something in her bum, I asked, did Oma or Opa, No, before I asked, did Oma and Opa, I asked, did anybody else? And she's bawling and she says, yeah. And I was like, who? And she said, strangers. And then she's like, they put me in a jail. And I have the recording, and you can't make up her emotion. You can't, you know. It's disgusting and horrific, and I don't know how to function. I don't know how to function knowing what I know, and knowing that I can't protect my kids.
So all this is coming out. Oh my God. I couldn't even imagine being in your shoes and finding all of this out.
And if you need to clip any of that out, you can.
No, this is all fine. So when you get to the kids center,
yep.
What's the process there? Is this more in depth? Is this better than the hospital or the same?
Yeah, so I get there and there was no appointment scheduled for us.
The cop never submitted your shit?
No.
What a fuck.
No, yeah. That's why I think there was no file or report.
They had no idea that you got...
Yeah, I show up. I'm trying to stay composed, and they're like, we didn't get an appointment notification, and the only way that you can have an appointment with this Children's Advocacy Center is through DSS or law enforcement submitting.
What sense does that make?
I don't know. So they were like, okay, go to the Family Justice Center a few blocks away and make your report there, and then after you're done with your report, then the investigator will schedule an appointment for your kids to be seen here. So that's what I did.
How long did that take?
It was a few hours of being at the Justice Center, the Family Justice Center, giving my whole report to the investigator, and then I had to fill out all these restraining orders because she was like, I want you to file a restraining order against everyone that was mentioned in the abuse.
Okay.
So Oma, Opa, and their dad.
Okay.
Because they were all mentioned, whether through coaching. Oma was mentioned on multiple occasions as a coaching or being present, and then Opa and Daddy, whatever. So that all took a while, and then the investigator went with us. She met us at the Springfield Advocacy Center. And that's when my kids had their medical exams, which were super thorough, and they take photographs of any bruise, any bump, their privates, everything.
But now it's been...
Since Friday.
Yes.
It's now Monday.
Okay, so yeah.
Mid-Monday. And I gave my kids baths because they were so inflamed and irritated. Their privates were. So I was like, we're going to take a bath. That sucks, but we're going to take a bath. So that happened Sunday. I bathed them.
So both your children's privates were inflamed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So they did the medical exams and photographed everything. And while they were doing the exams, they would ask the children, okay, where did you get this scratch? Where did you get this bruise? Every single time my daughter was asked, her continued response, running at the park, running at the park, running at the park, every time. Every time she was asked, how did this happen? Every time she said, running at the park. And she was 3 years old. She definitely was coached. And then my son, he had a false response every time, and it was something at school. So we have this new kitten. He has a scratch on his arm from this kitten. And then the nurse practitioner is asking, how did you get this scratch? And he said, one of the kids in my class brought a cat, and it scratched me at school. Like every single time, it was ingrained in his brain. Anything that happened at school.
Interesting. And you're watching your kids say this?
Yeah, I'm in the room with them while they're...
And you probably can't say anything, huh?
No. And they did each one separately. But yeah.
So how hard was that, having to live through that again with your kids? Were they very open with it? Did they tell you the same things, or did their story change? What went on there?
Well, the forensic interviews, I was not allowed.
Okay.
I was not allowed in the forensic interviews.
Okay.
They have their own little separate room that they go in, and it's recorded and everything. And I didn't actually get to watch the interviews. Probably like a year later, I finally got to watch them.
Did you watch them all the way?
Yes.
How was that?
Painful.
Did they disclose anything in there that it was dad or grandpa?
Both of them mentioned that their dad hurt them in some way. My son specifically mentions that his dad put his hand in his bum and that it hurt and that it was to be mean. And my daughter said her dad broke her legs, and she kept mentioning her baby brother that's dead. Yeah. If you research satanic ritual abuse, and if that's really what my kids have been through, they do human sacrifice in front of these children.
Okay.
They do all kinds of really horrific stuff so that the children's brains shut off.
For sure.
So they don't remember. So her continuing to mention this baby brother that's dead, all I can assume is like, was it a threat? Was she threatened? Did she watch an actual baby die?
And she's 3 at this age?
She's 3 years old.
Like, where's a 3-year-old getting this?
I don't know. I have no idea, but she related her baby brother to the trauma, to that her dad hurt her. Like that was a mental relation that she shared when she's being asked all these questions and talking about how her dad does all of these things.
Okay. So the report gets taken. How long did you have your kids before you had to give them back to him?
Well, after the initial Children Advocacy Center appointment, the DSS investigator immediately had a safety intervention put in place.
Okay.
So she said, be in zero contact with their dad, stay away from your apartment, do not go to work, stay with your children 24/7. In case Richard shows up, if you have your children with you, the police can't take them.
Got it.
So I was with my kids 24/7, waiting on these restraining orders. And we had a hearing for the restraining orders against Richard's mom and dad. And that hearing, their attorney requested that the judge change the venue to West Plains. And I didn't have an attorney, but I remember asking the judge, please don't transfer this case to their town. They are very well known, financially involved in that community, and I have concern of conflict of interest. But the judge changed the venue.
Oh my God. So they just put it in their lap.
Yeah.
So why the fuck would the judge do that?
Welcome to America.
So now all this comes out. They clearly know what's going on at this point.
Yes.
Because you have a restraining order. You have
Yes.
everything put in place to protect you.
Well, the restraining orders weren't granted. They were denied, but had hearings.
Okay.
So
the restraining orders aren't in place. The judge in Springfield is now, for some reason, passing this off to the judge that's in this community.
yes.
With this Mormon leader that is the grandfather of the children that these kids just said molested them.
Yes.
And he's connected to the judge in town
Likely.
and everybody else around.
Likely, yeah.
What fucking sense does that make?
It sounds like the way that the system works to
For
me.
sure.
Yeah.
Like, this seems like a huge, like, this, they're setting this up. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so now that the cat's out of the bag,
Yeah.
word has clearly gotten around that your children have come forward with their father touching them and doing things to them along with their grandpa. Nobody's thinking that this guy, that his own children are confessing to him diddling them, and this guy's dealing with giant minors, and parents are just sending their kids to this little rehab center, and this guy that your ex is running, and this dude just into this dark fuck. What's the name of this facility?
Ozark Trails Youth Academy.
In Missouri?
Or Youth Services, yeah, in Missouri. Ozark Trails Academy.
And this dude's in some dark, fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And he works with children.
Yep.
That just makes sense. That makes sense to me. Like those are the dudes that are into this shit, that are running these things.
Yep. Yeah, don't send your kids to a facility probably ever.
Fuck
probably
no,
never do that. Don't abandon your child, drop them off, and say you take care of them.
This is mind-boggling to me. Okay, where are we?
Yeah, so we had our hearings. Richard still never got served his restraining order. I request to meet with the investigator over the state investigator who's been handling everything, who's put the safety intervention in place and everything. Through this whole process, I feel like she was the one person that did her job to protect my kids. Linda Steinbach.
Okay.
So I'm with her. My dad flew in to accompany me for that hearing so that I wouldn't have to be alone. So we're talking to her, and my dad brings up, like, what if she just comes to Utah while we wait for all of this, because she doesn't have a restraining order, like they're still not safe. She can't go to work. We were literally in hiding. Like, I wouldn't even feel safe going out to the park or publicly. Like, I was in shock. I was processing a lot, and also I was just worried, like, what if they just send someone up here to just take the kids?
For sure.
Like, I was scared.
Okay.
So, basically, because there's no custody order, technically it was okay. That, I mean, there's argument there. Now that I know, there's a gray area, because we were waiting on a court order.
Yep.
But it was my understanding, because there's no custody arrangement, it's okay for me to seek refuge in Utah.
Okay.
So that's what I did. I moved me and the kids to Utah, and we stayed with my parents. And
for how long?
We were ordered to move back in, I feel like it was May or June.
Okay.
So we were in Utah just barely under 6 months.
Okay.
While we were in Utah, we had our whole routine. We were doing all the things. Like, I got us on insurance and got us into trauma therapy. One thing that the investigator pushed really hard after my kids' forensic interviews was that I need to get my kids into trauma therapy as soon as possible. So we did trauma therapy, and we did group therapy that was play therapy for them. And then I was taking, while they did their group play therapy, I took a course on, like, it was for parents to learn how to do play therapy sessions with your children.
Okay.
Basically. So we were doing all these things to, like, work on healing and just being safe and secure and getting our routine and everything. And usually it was at night, but there were other times, like going to the bathroom too was another time that would trigger, and the kids would start telling me disclosures of things.
Okay, so that was my next question. While you're back in Utah, you guys are safe.
Yes.
Away from any threat at the moment that you're really concerned about. Are your kids saying things?
Yes.
Is there triggers? Are there outbursts? Do you see a change that would solidify or at least make you think more, okay, this truly happened? Because
yes.
I'm not saying this didn't happen.
Yeah.
But obviously kids can see something, hear something. Obviously, if they're around your ex that is a perverted, dark human being, he could be saying things and they could be picking up on them. So where my mind goes with this, was this a one and done deal that your children came up with these accusations that their dad and their grandpa are putting things in their bums and putting medicine in their hair and in them? was that it? Or when you took them to a safe place and things calmed down, you get in a routine, was there anything else?
Yeah, they continued disclosing. And
Like
another thing just to note was that my daughter had irritation and it didn't go away, like in her private. Like it would bother her. She would fidget. And so 2 months later, it's February, I took her to the urgent care to be tested for an STD because I was like, okay, she's got some sort of irritation going on that's not healing. They sent me to the Provo Children's Justice Center to be examined.
Okay.
So we go there and she's examined. They do like a swab and everything, and they take a photograph. The reason about the photograph is that photograph is so vital to compare to the photograph taken 2 months prior because there is a difference. There is absolutely a difference. I recognized it as the mom when I would take her potty. Like, it was not normal, healthy size for her age in December. By February, it's back to its normal size. Everything's normal, but she still has irritation.
I hate that I even have to ask this question, but so you were able to compare?
I can't access them. I can't access these photographs.
Where are the photographs?
Provo Children's Justice Center has theirs, and then the Children's Advocacy Center in Springfield has theirs. And I have told every law enforcement over the case, the prosecuting attorney over the case, I have informed anyone that has any type of authority to investigate. These photographs exist. Get a hold of them and get my kid safe and arrest that man.
So as a mom, you were able to clearly see a difference in healing process of your daughter's privates.
Yes. And I know those photographs exist, and I know if you compared them, the size would be very different. But to answer your question about disclosures, that was a thing. Bedtime and bathroom
triggered something.
That was usually when they would say stuff. Sometimes car rides.
Okay.
Like, I remember we were driving to the dentist for my son, and he randomly went on this whole tangent about the entire synopsis of that movie, Scream. He just starts telling me everything that happens in that movie. My daughter was like, yeah, I was crying the whole time. It was scary.
And their dad made them watch it?
And my son said he wasn't scared. So randomly, my kids would tell me things like, oh, we watched this music video. One music video, Lil Nas X. My son had this weird obsession with Lil Nas X's music. And
as a 5-year-old?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
that's a red flag.
Yes. Well, what's interesting, we're going to backtrack really quick because we're on the subject. Before any of these disclosures happened, I was picking up my kids one evening from school to spend just to spend the evening with them because I had work in the morning. As I'm picking them up, my son asks, "Can you play that song Call Me When You Want?" I don't think he said Lil Nas X, but he said the song. And so I look it up. And on my screen are all these men in prison dancing naked. Look back at my son, so confused, and he starts bawling, like crying out of nowhere. And I was like, so confused. And I was like, how do you know about this song? And he says, my friend at school showed me on an iPad, just like crying. And I texted Richard and I screenshot the music video. And I was like, our son just asked to play this song, and he says someone from school showed him, like, this is another example of why I want to homeschool our kids. We are in way more control of what they're exposed to. He never texted back. He never responded. But that was the first time my son brought up that music from that artist, and then that was another thing he would bring up.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they were not only physically abused, they were exposed to things way beyond age appropriate.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So clearly there's things that trigger, like we talked about, even though they've been away from their dad for 6 months, they're still bringing things up.
Yes.
Are you asking questions? Are you trying to word them a certain way, or are they just randomly just in certain moments and things would trigger them and they would just blurt something out?
No. So I would keep a log anytime my kids would
smart.
disclose something.
Okay.
So everything that they said or their behaviors that were concerning, later in the day, I would go and write it down.
Okay.
There were a few times, though, where, like, one specifically that I still regret, and I will admit to, is my son is doing something inappropriate. I don't remember if it was dancing inappropriate or saying something inappropriate, something that crossed the line. And I offered up and I said, I know you learned this stuff from your dad, because that was something that they had told me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I know this is something that you learned from your dad, but it's not okay, and we don't do it.
Okay.
So I offered up, this is something that you learned from your dad that we don't do. But it wasn't something I put into their brain. It was something they told me about.
Yep.
And so that little clip was something they used really hard on me at trial. They had access to my logs because I submitted it to the review board, who, back when Richard had preponderance of evidence against him, he appealed it. I submitted as a witness everything that I felt like they should review.
Mm-hmm.
And so I submitted that list of all of my log notes. Richard's attorney got a hold of that list of log notes, and he took that little tidbit and was like, see, you offered this information. You coached your children about abuse. You're crazy. You're evil. You're creating this false narrative in your children.
From that one
little clip, that one little statement of all of these days and days and days and days of notes of my children's behaviors.
Okay, so let's get to the court then. So you're in Utah, 6 months, you get ordered back.
Yes.
Or did you go back to Springfield or did you go back to the town?
We stayed in Springfield.
Okay, so you're in Springfield. Now the judge in Springfield moves the court to, what's the name of this town?
West Plains.
West Plains, Missouri.
Well, everything was happening in West Plains, basically.
Okay. Yeah,
but
yeah.
Those restraining orders were moved to West Plains.
Okay, so everything's now moved from where you're staying and think that you're safe in Springfield. And the judge now moves it to West Plains, Missouri, where now this dude that you're accusing of molesting your children, he lives. His dad is a higher ranking member of the Mormon church that's connected in the town. He's a surgeon, eye surgeon, knows the judge that you've been introduced to, at least one of the judges.
I can't confirm. He knows one of the judges.
One of the judges, which if you're in these small towns, we all know how this goes.
Yeah.
How does this go down? So now you're the outsider.
Yes.
Coming into this town.
Yes.
With this perfect little Mormon LDS family that's raised 10 kids, and they're all probably stellar members of the community.
Yeah. They're
now
all doctors.
they're all doctors?
All of them.
Okay, shocker. So are they all doctors in this town, or are they all around?
No, most of them live in Missouri, though.
Okay. So now you're fighting. Now this is David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
So now you're in the town with this. What are they called? A stake president of the church.
Yes.
Runs this community. Is this a heavily Mormon community?
It has more members than other surrounding towns.
Okay, but it's not like a Utah Mormon community?
No.
Okay. So this guy that is a surgeon, he's a business owner. His son is now this counselor from a rehab center for children. And here you are accusing their precious little son of molesting your children in their town that they have deep roots and ties to.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. How does this go over?
Really poorly. It's not over. It's still going.
Okay.
One thing I do want to note, because it's pretty big, is that while we were in Utah, end of February, it was bedtime, my son starts talking about in detail what happened. And he goes in detail. He specifically talks about being raped by his father. And I grabbed my phone, hit record, and I said, "Can you say again really quick what you just told me?"
Okay.
He repeats it. I send that video to the corporal over the investigation, who was in West Plains. He's been over this investigation this whole time. And I sent it to the DSS investigator who's been over the case. The corporal hurries and gets forensic interviews scheduled out of Provo Justice Center. The Children's Provo Justice Center, we are scheduled to have follow-up forensic interviews. Both my children have forensic interviews. I, to this day, have not viewed those, cannot access them, but I do have the Missouri DSS report. And in the Missouri DSS report, it states multiple statements from those Provo forensic interviews.
Okay.
Both of my children, in their forensic interviews in Provo, disclose sodomy.
Okay.
I think it was maybe a day or two later, the DSS, Missouri DSS, comes out. Their investigation is over. They've come out with a preponderance of evidence against Richard. Cut, clean, and dry. It is way more likely, not way more, it is more likely than not that Richard Jones has sexually assaulted his children.
This is coming from the state.
From Missouri.
Okay.
The state of Missouri.
So the state of Missouri tells you, comes out, hey, we have enough evidence from your children's statements.
And everything else.
Everything else
also
that has been
medical
documented.
photographs.
Medical photographs, testing.
Yep.
The, what do they call the examinations, the forensic examinations, and everything else. So they gathered all of this going on. You've been living in this hell for a year now, close to, I feel like, if my time's right. So you're like, oh, thank God. Okay, we have him.
Yes.
This dude's going down.
Yes.
For molesting your children.
Yes.
What the fuck happened?
Also, we did get approved of a temporary restraining order in Utah. But when we had our hearing for it to become permanent, Richard's attorney managed to get the judge to transfer it to West Plains. It's not in your jurisdiction, even though they're living here. It's not in your jurisdiction, judge from Utah. Just send it back to where it's all happening, or where it supposedly happened.
What's that judge's name? Do you know?
Oh, I don't
Utah
remember.
judge?
I think she was a female.
She Mormon? Do you know?
I have no idea. I would have to look.
I keep asking for people listening. I keep asking about the Mormon connections because I feel there's some really deep-rooted things that go on that's dark in the Mormon church, and this is just my opinion, and I don't care if you like it or not. This is how I feel.
Yes.
I feel that the Mormon church, along with all the other churches, not just Mormons, but especially Mormons, cover everything up. And they will do whatever it takes. They will spend whatever money they have to be able to bury things.
Yes.
This is where things... Your story does not make sense to me at all, except if they're the only thing that processing what's going on inside of your story is that there are somehow connections through the Mormon community.
And the funding.
And
how they keep things quiet.
Okay. So now that you have enough evidence to put this Mormon stake president's son away from molesting his own children, or sodomizing his children.
Yes.
Where does this go wrong? If you have all the evidence, everything's laid out, like the state's saying that they have, where does it go wrong? And I got another question after that.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Where it goes wrong is a lengthy response.
Okay.
But long story short, the preponderance of evidence comes out.
Okay.
Richard appeals the preponderance of evidence by the state.
Okay.
He has what is called an appellate hearing before the Child Abuse and Neglect Review Board.
Mm-hmm.
That board has their whole hearing, and they uphold the evidence. They uphold the evidence against Richard. They say that this evidence is now final and that his name is placed on the registry. It is more likely than not that Richard has sexually abused his children. We are placing his name on the registry. It's final.
Okay.
Then
so they deny what he wanted.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Richard has what's called a de novo hearing. And the de novo hearing happens in West Plains.
Okay.
in this hearing, I was not present because I'm not involved directly, but I have received, I was provided all of the records from it. So in the de novo hearing, the DSS attorney, the state attorney, is saying this evidence is like, look at this evidence. This man is a threat to children. He should not be allowed to be anywhere near the students at his facility. Because Richard's hearing was arguing that because his name is on the registry, he can't go to work.
Yeah,
that's what he's arguing.
That makes sense to me.
Yes.
That if a dude that is molesting his own children, that owns a facility for abused children, should not be allowed around those children.
Yes.
As a job. You should be fired or removed immediately.
Even if it's more likely than not. Even if that's the basis. Even if there is a basis, because there's the state investigation and then there's law enforcement investigation.
Okay.
Law enforcement has been claiming, and the prosecuting attorney from West Plains, who I met with once, and he completely ghosted me ever since, they claim that they do not have enough evidence to press charges. But the state has enough evidence to have this preponderance of evidence. And then because he appealed and the review board reviewed everything, they're like, yes, this is more likely than not. It's final and your name's on the registry. So he has this whole de novo hearing. The state attorney is like, protect the students, protect the kids. He should not be around them.
Rightfully so.
And then out of nowhere, I don't really understand how it's all connected, but there's this restraining order signed off by Judge Prevet, who is in West Plains. He signs off on this restraining order against the state, against the DSS.
What does that mean? Explain that.
I don't really understand. All I know is there's this restraining order against DSS because of the preponderance of evidence. I don't really understand it.
Your ex got a restraining order against
somehow
DSS?
Somehow. I don't understand.
The judge approved.
The West Plains judge signed off on this.
This is the judge that got removed from malpractice?
No, this is a different West Plains judge.
Okay. Wait, so your ex files a restraining order against the state department that investigates child abuse?
Yes.
And that judge
signed off on it.
Signed off on it?
Yes. I'm not an attorney. Work? I have no idea. I just have the document. I just have the signed off document. It makes no sense. Then the other document I received was this settlement agreement where the same DSS attorney who is arguing that Richard should not be around his students is now signing off on the settlement agreement saying that the DSS, the Missouri State Department of Social Services, is dismissing the preponderance of evidence against Richard and removing his name from the registry under some settlement agreement, which means there was no trial or evidentiary hearing. There was this settlement agreement. They had their de novo hearing.
Okay.
And the state attorney argued his argument. Then there's this random weird restraining order against the state. Then there's this settlement agreement. What background kind of like backdoor deals? That's all I can assume.
Okay.
Did the church get involved? Did they threaten to sue the state?
Did you go to the church? Did you go to the Mormon temple? Did you go to anybody during this time from the church?
There were a few times. When I first started the divorce with Richard, I wanted to go to individual therapy.
Okay.
So I went to the bishop of the ward. And at the time, Richard's dad is the stake president, which means he's basically the bishop's boss. And so my little bishop that I went to is reporting and working under Richard's dad.
Okay.
Yeah. So I meet with him, and before I even say a word, he's like, I just want you to know I'm not going to take sides. I don't want you to try and get me to take your side. Like putting up this wall of like, I don't want to hear it.
Because his boss is the dude that
Richard, the man I'm divorcing.
Yeah.
And I was like, there are no sides. I'm not trying to have sides.
That's weird. So that's a side. He drew a line.
Yeah.
Clearly there's a side.
Exactly.
You're not on it.
That's not even why I was meeting with him.
Okay.
But yeah, exactly. So I was like, no, yeah, whatever. I just want some financial assistance so that I can go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And not even a month before, maybe a month before, he was paying tons of money. The bishop was approved to pay tons of money for our group therapy. But now that I'm single and getting a divorce from Richard and seeking much less expensive and only once a month, not twice a month therapy, I come to him and I say, can I have some financial assistance? His response was, we are not allowed to provide funding for people who are financially capable. Which I am less financially capable than I was while married to Richard.
I find that hilarious because everything built around that religion is money.
Yes.
Everything from
it
top
is.
to bottom is
Oh, it
all
is.
about $1 in tithing. And now that you go and lean on the church, but I'm sure the church had no problem taking any of your tithes, and when you had to go on your mission and pay for all of that,
Yeah.
they have no problem with that. But now that you need help, they can't help you?
No. And what's also even more bizarre is the Mormon church provides free therapy. They have free therapy.
And they wouldn't give it to you?
The bishop never told me. I didn't know. He just said, I can't help you. So that was that. And I never met with him ever again. And then when I came across all those really horrifying messages and memes, and I didn't know what to do, I still relied on, like, I assumed priesthood authority as someone you can turn to for assistance, even in like a comfort spiritual way. So I was like, okay, I can't meet with the bishop, but I want to meet with a local priesthood authority. So I was working in the young women's presidency, the girls' youth program in our ward for like 4 years. And I worked with a wife of an authority in the stake presidency.
Mm-hmm.
So he worked in the stake presidency. So he's like a priesthood authority. And I trusted his wife. So I was like, I'll meet with this man. Like, I'll see if this man is willing to meet with me. And so I reach out to him and he's like, yeah, of course we can meet. And then he like explicitly asked if I was okay that he let Rob, Richard's dad, know that we were going to meet, but that he wasn't going to tell him anything.
Okay.
And I'm like, why? Why do you need to I don't know. Maybe it's protocol, but weird.
Because these guys all work for your
Rob.
Father-in-law.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's to get approval. Who knows?
So what did the church say when you brought up the bestiality, the pornographic material, the gay shit that your ex is sending? And what did the bishops or leaders say about this?
So it was just that one leader that I met with.
Okay.
And I showed him a lot of the messages, a lot of the memes. And all his response was like, boys will be boys. Like, when guys get around their friends, they get all riled up and weird. And then, no,
absolutely not.
No. And then he's a father to daughters. So he starts talking about if this were his daughter coming to him. And he's like, I would have concern, but also I understand that was the thing. Boys will be boys. And the other thing that he really tried to drill into my brain was that I don't want to come across crazy. Like, I don't want to allege all of this stuff and come across crazy.
And this is coming from a leader of the church.
Yeah.
Where does a leader fall? Are they under bishops?
So this leader was working as a support to the stake president. So he's separate from the bishop.
Is he equal but separate?
That's the thing. They claim that we're all equal children of God, but in their like patriarchal hierarchy of leadership, there's the stake president, there's the stake presidency that works with him, and then there's the stake authorities. So there's a whole team.
There's so many layers to like the positions in the Mormon church. It is They have the chosen 70 or whatever, and like there's
so weird.
There's so much to me that's like anyways, we don't even need to get into that.
All I will say is just coming out of it and now having the relationship that I have with God and Jesus. It's like you feel this gap. Like, here's this one individual, and then there's these bishops, and then there's these other people above them, and then above them, and then there's your prophet. It's like you feel like in order to get to God, you have to go through.
For sure.
There's no just direct. And then they claim that you have your own personal revelation and everything, but you have to go to your bishop for everything.
I was told that at some point, and correct me if I'm wrong, like when these young men become men in the LDS church, that they sit and talk to these bishops about masturbation, looking at pornography, and all this dark shit, and they share all these really just perverted shit with these guys. And this is like that's like a phase in the church that they go through where they sit with these men and talk about all this perverted stuff.
Girls too. I was 11 when I started having my bishop recommend appointments.
Are you sitting with a male?
Yes.
Are you by yourself?
Yes. It's either the bishop or someone in his presidency. You go behind a closed door and they ask you very explicit questions about the details and all the things. And you tell them. And they're trying to decide if you're worthy to enter the temple. But really, it's just this disgusting, so uncomfortable. I would get like mini panic attacks before I had to go into one of those meetings.
How old were you?
It started when I was 11. Every year.
Bro, how are you a man, a father, letting your I don't give a I'm going to go on a tangent right now. Jesus, take the wheel. How is a man and as a father, I don't care what religion you want to claim and think that it is, how does anybody justify sending I'm thinking about my 11-year-old daughter, that I'm going to let her go. I don't give a shit if it's the pastor of our church. If he's like, I'm going to take your daughter into this room by ourselves
all alone,
and we're going to talk about her intimate thoughts and what's going on. Absolutely the fuck not. I don't care unless Jesus comes out of the heavens.
No.
Oh, you need to.
No.
Fuck no. That is a cult.
No.
Like, that's fucking cultish shit that's going on. And they're just like, it's sacred, not secret. Like, what the fuck is this? That is the most common Mormon shit on the internet. Whenever you want to ask a question, it's sacred, not secret.
I almost wore my shirt that says secrecy is slavery.
Bro, I don't understand as a dad. Like, how are you this brainwashed and manipulated and groomed your whole entire... That's how it is, because you're born into this, so you think it's normal.
Yeah.
But you take any other normal man and ask them, hey, would you ever let your daughter, starting at 11, to go into a room and talk with a strange dude that's part of your church and trusted?
Actually, when you're 8.
You start this at 8?
No.
Oh.
But you have your interview with the bishop to get baptized. If I remember correctly...
You have to have an interview to get baptized?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Hold on. Let's get back on track. Don't get me started on this shit.
There's a lot.
I get so much, dude. Anyways. Okay, the court case is going on. Let's get to how the hell you lost custody.
Yeah.
This is okay, so this is the shit that doesn't make sense to me, because the church is so deeply rooted in family, but community, looking out for each other and tithing, and we help everybody else out. I don't buy any of this shit. As an outsider looking at the LDS church, it is the biggest scam. Like, why am I getting served ads almost every day from attorneys? If you have been molested inside the LDS community and church, there's a class action lawsuit. Like, I get these ads every day.
Same.
What the fuck is going on? We're having class action lawsuits about a church? Like, not just one church in a community, like all of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this dude that's a stake leader,
Yes.
stake president in the Mormon church, his son is now accused, and they have enough evidence of raping his own children.
Yes.
Gets everything moved to his own town, and now the pieces start falling apart of this case.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is where we're at. I went on a little fucking Mormon tangent, but
Yeah.
this shit just blows my mind. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Anybody trying to explain anything to me about this, doesn't make sense.
All I want to say is if you look at those buildings, those temples, and how much money they put into those buildings, why are we not, when Jesus says we are the temple, our body is the temple, why are we not putting money into the people? Like, let's invest in schooling and programs to help people have jobs and have welfare and have, like, why are we not putting money into that? Do you really think our Creator or Jesus cares about how fancy and beautiful these buildings are? When he says our body is the temple, like, let's invest in our bodies and our health. That's what got me. That's what tipped me. And I was like, I think I need to leave this. But
I feel like there's a mass exodus out of the Mormon church right now.
I feel like it's been going on for a few years.
I think as we grow into the era of knowledge and information,
Yes.
people are looking up who Joseph Smith really was.
Or the legitimate true history.
There is none.
Yeah.
There is none. They're like, well, maybe this happened. I'm like, it is so wild to me. It is so wild that people just blindly, because they were born into it, don't ask questions and see how deep rooted this shit goes. Like, it's so bizarre to me, and it's fascinating. I guess that another thing, it doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
okay, so now that we're in full court mode,
Yeah.
right? Sorry
Yeah.
for everybody listening. This is just building.
But
inside.
it is
I can see
related.
where this is going,
Like, it is related too.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not just me.
No.
I'll admit I'm looking for reasons, just because it's so fucked up. And like, I have people reaching out constantly and talking about stuff that happened to them in the Mormon church,
Yes.
but they can't ever come forward with it because they'll be excommunicated from it. Their families will turn on them. Like,
Yes.
I have a friend that he did an episode here about the church, and we had to pull the whole episode because he was like, dude, don't air it, because when this goes out, my family's they're gonna turn on me, and this is gonna be a huge problem. And
It's
like,
heartbreaking.
that's not that's a cult.
That's
not
not
a
Jesus.
That's not Jesus at all.
Does that sound like Jesus? No.
If I went to my parents, was like, hey, I'm leaving the church, they'd be like,
That sucks. Like,
are you okay? Well, we're gonna pray for you. You leave the Mormon church, and they're like, shame, and
never
they're
come to my house.
you're not welcome to us. You can't talk to us. You can't even drive down our street. Like, I've seen it. I have buddies that are like, bro, like, you leave, and it's.
And there are some members who are way more understanding, but like, that's been the culture. Like, that's a new thing. It's a new thing for people to be understanding and gracious and be like, okay, it's okay if we believe different things. But like, they're still going to send people to come to your house to try and
Collect tithing.
And have you reconvert.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not going to miss tithing.
No. Or fast offerings. The whole thing is weird. And the reason I'm sharing this is not to bash people in the church. It is because I love, like, what I share is out of love. Some of it comes out of rage, and some of it comes out of, like, I'm super, like, pissed off at how things are going. But, like, the amount of people that are members of that church that I love so deeply.
Don't care?
No. I am worried for their well-being. I am worried for their salvation. I am worried that they are closing off to truth that they need.
For sure.
And a real true, like, deep-rooted relationship with Jesus, that you don't need to go to a man to confirm or deny your personal revelation.
You should never idolize anybody or anything. And that even goes for little Mother Teresa statues and all this other shit that people worship and put on pedestals. That if you were a believer,
or pop stars or any of it,
idols, actors, whatever, influencers, that has been a lesson, not even from a Christian standpoint. You should never put anybody on a pedestal. You should never idolize anybody because we're man and we're flawed and we're evil and we make horrible, disgusting mistakes.
Yep.
That is why I don't care if you're a fucking bishop, a deacon, a pastor. They're all flawed.
We're all
They're
humans.
all human.
Yep.
We make mistakes and our minds have been corrupted no matter what. That is when people are like, oh, I pray to this person. No, no, absolutely not. That is why I have such a problem with religion, because religion is created by man. Church is created by man.
Yes. Everything
that you're doing and dressing up and putting your little tie and your little Mormon clothes on, all because man told you to do that. Yes. None of that is God.
When did Jesus ever ask someone to dress nice in his presence? Ever?
It's just bizarre to me. That's where I look. It's so hard for me to because I get a lot of shit from, the Mormons, and they're like, oh, I would love and come and educate you. You don't need to fucking educate me. That's like me looking at Jeffrey Dahmer and be like, yeah, let me come justify why I did what I need to do. It doesn't make it right. Just because you've been groomed your whole entire life from birth into this religion of God, which you're not even worshiping the same God as God.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that how deep and how secretive. And it's like, if I can't walk into any room in that temple, why is it an outsider? Why can't I walk in and check it out?
Yeah, it's
sacred. Is it?
No, it's weird.
It's so sacred because it was built in 2009.
Yeah, no, it's so weird.
Like, if you want to tell me sacred, find me some temple that was built before Jesus walked this earth. That's sacred. If you got thousands of years of history, that's sacred. Some dude building it out in eastern Idaho, the new temple, that's not sacred just because you want to flick some holy water or whatever you're going to need to do to bless it. That you need to shun people from it, that you need to be accepted into it, you need to get approved into it, you need to be voted in to be baptized or whatever else. That's all man. It's 100% man.
Yeah.
You are worshiping man's word, not God's word. God did not create anything. Any of that goes on inside of that church was not created by God.
No.
That's the devil. That is some secret, dark, nasty shit that goes on.
And if you take the history of what they do in those temples and align it with Freemasonry and weird occult crap.
It's not the first time I've heard this.
There are alignments. It's just, yeah. And I had my moments of rage, but now it's seriously just like, I just want people who want truth to be willing to give up things that they thought were true.
That's the problem. It's harder to convince somebody of the truth when you have been groomed your whole life of what the truth is.
Yeah.
And so to convince somebody that they've been lied to their whole entire life is so much harder to revert them back to the truth. You look at these kids that are been kidnapped and they've been living with their predator for 15 years. They end up falling in love with them, and Stockholm syndrome or whatever else. Is that Stockholm? Yeah, Stockholm syndrome. Things like that. Like, the human mind is very weak. Yeah. It can be very strong, but it's also very easy to manipulate. Yeah. And it's like, now telling people hey, this doesn't make sense. Hey, you should not be doing this. Hey, it shouldn't be built around money. And if money gets you higher into the church.
And they'll claim it's not money. They'll claim it's not money, but I don't know, man. There's some weird stuff that doesn't make sense, and being in that mentality, you're afraid to ask questions. You're afraid to fill questions. You feel guilty for even questioning.
That's a huge one. I see a lot of people that leave the church say that they never ask questions because of how bad you'd be judged and how shunned it is to question things inside the church.
Yeah, you can't ask other members questions that contradict, how does this add up? You can't, that's not a thing.
That's brainwashing if you can't do that.
Yeah.
That's not God. Again, that is not God. If you claim to be a Mormon or a Christian, whatever it may be, if you can't ask basic questions, even deep, dark questions.
Yeah.
If you can't prove it in the church that you go to and worship in this temple that's all clean and high and mighty, if they're hiding things that's secret, no, it's secret, That's where, like, I don't understand, because I have buddies that are Mormon, and we don't really get too deep into it, but they'll tell me things, and I'm like, bro, that makes sense to you?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't. And they're like, oh yeah, man. So starting at this age, and then you graduate into this, and then I'm working to be this, and I'm like, dude, why don't you just work on a relationship with God? And they're like, but in order to get there, I have to X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, that is all man. That is man. You're worshiping a man. You're worshiping the word of a man.
And works too. It's like what you do proves your worth. And that's completely.
You can be a bum on the streets, and if you're a true believer in God, you're a believer in God.
Yeah, but
not according to them.
Yeah.
You have to. I am perfect. Here's my perfect family. Here's all my children that we are told to have. I'm going to have my business that has been built by the church, and they're going to fund and do it. It's like everything is so rooted and tied together. It has very similar ties and very similar feels to another religion that is very Pharisees, but we won't need to get into that history. But yeah, it's very interesting.
And I just want to say, like, it's painful to like have this conversation, because I know how it's going to affect strong believers in the Mormon community, people who are genuinely trying to be good people and genuinely trying to have a connection with God and Jesus and genuinely trying to live in truth. When things come up against that paradigm, you go into protective mode.
Uh-huh.
And so what's going to happen is we are now enemies to them because we're attacking their paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
All I want is people to know truth, to seek truth, and to become okay with the fact that maybe some of the things they do believe as truth might not be truth.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's okay.
It's like trying to convince a MAGA supporter or this hardcore Democrat that the other party's right.
Yeah.
Instead of just, hey, listen, both parties are owned by the same people.
Yeah.
Why don't we take a step back? We're not looking at parties. We're just looking at the truth.
Truth.
What's the truth here?
Jesus is truth.
The way and the light. That's all you need.
I'm not a religious person. I'm not a Christian. I'm nothing. I just believe in Jesus and I follow him. That's all I need right now.
Yep. It's the most simplest way. And that's where it's like, because I get asked all the time on social and stuff, and, being on this baby Christian and learning, people are like, well, what are you? What are you? I'm a believer in God. That's what I am. Yeah. I'm not orthodox, unorthodox, Southern Baptist, undenominational. Like there's all these. And guess what? Every one of those are created by a man.
Yep.
That's where I have this problem with it. It's like, okay, yeah, do I connect with certain pastors? Absolutely. But I'm not like devoting myself to this man that can leave tomorrow and we'll have a new one, and then they can rotate 1,000 different times. They can do that all they want. As long as you have that relationship with God, nothing ever changes.
Yep. And you don't, like in my situation, you never know if these men are really who they say they are.
No.
So are you really going to give that authority of your faith and your personal sacred divine connection to God? Are you really going to give that over to a human person who is imperfect, who might not even be who they say they are, and let them help guide your life?
Who is who they say they are?
Probably no one.
If you talk to anybody, that's one thing that I've learned in my life and podcasts and everything else. When you ask people that have true life experiences, dudes that have traveled the world, dealt with evil, dealt with good, you ask any of them, what is a life lesson? Trust nobody.
Yeah.
Trust nobody. And it's not a negative thing, but it's
a real thing.
It's real. You can be bought, you can be tricked, you could be lied to. There's so much as people, and money and power and fame and everything that comes along with all of our own sins. You're putting that into someone's hands in these churches. And I'm not even talking LDS at this point. I'm just talking any of these churches that are worshiping the people.
Yeah.
You should not have to go to a man to get closer to God. That to me right there should be the biggest, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need to go to a man of any position in a church, bishop, leader, pastor, counselor, stake ward president, whatever the position is. You should never have to go to any of those people to have a relationship with God. You don't need them.
No.
You do not need anybody to have that.
No. Your body is the temple. You are the source.
Okay. Now that we did our little tangent. Where did everything go wrong? You went to the church. They're giving you horrible advice because everybody that you're visiting in the church works for your father-in-law, which you're now accusing his son of molesting your children, which they have evidence of, and they've documented everything. Where does this all spiral?
Yeah. So, it starts with my new attorney. So I have this new attorney, Morgan Kirkpatrick, and she works as an associate under Austin Williamson out of a pretty big law firm in Springfield, Missouri. We have this evidentiary hearing, an emergency evidentiary hearing in May of 2024 to address all of these false claims that mom is making because she's crazy.
Okay.
So that's what we're addressing.
What's making you crazy?
They are saying that I'm coaching my children and I kidnapped my children to Utah and I am unstable and flight risk and all these things.
Oh, so they're using you leaving because the first judge did in the 90 days that he had to cut you.
That's not even it. They're trying to say because I took the kids with me to Utah.
At what point? You've been back and forth a million times. Like which one?
Yes,
all of them?
Well, that I'm sure they probably incorporated that, but their specific argument was that I kidnapped my children to Utah after my children disclosed everything. After we went to all the proper procedures of like forensic interviews, medical examinations, all of those things.
Okay.
They're pretending like none of that is real. They're pretending that none of that happened, even though Richard's attorney subpoenaed all of these places.
Okay.
And has all of this evidence, which I didn't know at the time. I was never informed by my previous attorney that they did in fact have access to the forensic interviews. They did in fact have access to the DSS reports of preponderance of evidence against Richard. They had access to the sheriff reports. All of the things, even the Child Abuse and Neglect Review Board hearing. Wait, that happened after our initial evidentiary hearing.
Okay.
But there was the preponderance of evidence against Richard. There were the forensic interviews that were accessed by the attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that.
Yep.
We get to this hearing, and I was never informed by my attorney that they had access to the forensic interviews or the DSS reports
Who's
or any
they?
of that. All the attorneys.
Okay, so all the attorneys have everything that you have submitted, filed, reported, everything that's been going on with this.
Even my kids' forensic interviews.
Your
all
kids'
of it.
forensics interviews, everything all attorneys have.
Yep.
Okay.
And there was a guardian ad litem, which was the children's attorney at the time. He had it and reviewed it, all of it. Nobody told me they had any of that evidence. So we get to that evidentiary hearing, and the only evidence to support my claim that my attorney presented was my testimony. She has me share my testimony. Even my dad was there to testify as a witness. She didn't have him come on the stand. She had me read from my received letter. So there was a letter directly to me from the DSS stating the preponderance of evidence. So that was the only piece of evidence that I knew we had.
So none of the photos, nothing.
Nothing. None of that was presented in that trial, in that hearing.
Okay.
And that really screwed me over. Ever since that hearing, the detriment was insane. So there was no evidence, and I'm pretty positive even that letter, the preponderance of evidence letter that I read from, that she had me read from on the stand, I'm pretty positive she never entered it into discovery. So it wasn't even entered in as evidence. I just read it from the stand.
So you just technically showed up to court nothing. All of this past year of gathering evidence, your kids admitting to things that their father did.
Yep. None of it
that mattered.
None of it was presented in the hearing.
Why?
It did matter, but they made sure it wasn't presented in the hearing.
Who's they?
All of the attorneys.
Why?
To protect Richard.
But why would your attorney be protecting this guy if you're paying him or her?
Probably money. Probably maybe the Mormon church.
That doesn't make sense to me. That if,
or Richard's dad probably has a ton of money too that was paying them off. There is no reason other than fraud for my attorney to not have submitted or presented any of that evidence. There is no reason. She absolutely dropped the ball.
How long was she an attorney for? Was she new?
She was a newer attorney. She was a recent hire.
I mean, okay, all right.
But she had access to all of it.
But why would none of it be submitted? That's your whole case.
Because it's shady business.
She's either a complete moron.
Family attorneys are shady. Well, she was working under a non-moron. So either she's a moron or her boss is a moron, but it was two attorneys working on my case.
And neither one of them submitted any of the evidence that your kids have been assaulted?
No.
No.
The only evidence that was submitted that I was aware of during that hearing was opposing counsel, Richard's attorney, plays a snippet because he had access to the DSS report.
So they all have access.
He has access to the DSS report, which means he had access to the tiny clip that he edited out of my video of my daughter disclosing abuse.
And your attorney didn't bring any of this.
Nothing.
So it's pretty much like if I got in a fist fight with a dude, they have all the videos, the evidence, everything, witnesses, and then we go to court and none of that's brought up.
None of it's presented.
It's just his word versus your word at this point.
Yep.
Except for a little clip.
And their tiny little video clip that they edited.
Okay, so what did that do to the judge? And meanwhile, you're in the town. Now you're back in West
Missouri.
Plains,
Yeah.
where they're deeply rooted into this community.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so they take the tiny little clip. So in that video, I'm asking my daughter, why don't you want to go poop? She's bawling. She says, Dad put something in my bum. And then I asked, did anybody else? And then she says, strangers put her in a jail. And then I asked, did anybody else? And I asked, did Omar or Opa? Because my son had already disclosed the day before that Opa did something and they were living at their house. And then she said yes to Oma and Opa. And then I say, okay, well, thank you for telling me. I'm so sorry. We're going to tell the police and this is never going to happen ever again. And you're going to be safe. And then I'm going to let you go pick out a present to try and calm her down. And so they took the little clip of me asking, did Omar or Opa put something in your bum? And the part where I said, we're going to go tell the police and then I'm going to take you to get a present. They took that little tiny clip from the whole clip. And that's all they presented to be like, see, she offered up Oma and Opa's name. She coached her daughter, and then she bribed her daughter by saying she's going to go take her to get a present.
And your attorneys were like, actually, we have this full-length video of them just outing everything. This never got brought up?
No.
This has to be fraud then, right?
Yes.
I mean, there's no way. I'm trying to...
And at the
to make this
time,
make sense.
They never... Ever since that hearing, they never allowed anyone who's not a party to the case inside the courtroom. So my dad was kicked out.
Was his dad allowed in?
I don't think he was there.
Okay.
I could be wrong. But
Why?
yeah, everyone was kicked out.
Why?
The opposing counsel offered up some sort of rule and said, under this rule, I request that everyone not related as parties to the case be removed from this
I
courtroom.
wonder if that's a standard thing or if this is just to protect the Mormon church.
I have no idea. But my dad was kicked out and then a few other people were kicked out. So while this is all happening, I'm still trusting in my attorney. I'm still naive in believing that my attorney is trustworthy and that she's going to have my back. We're paying them all this money. I don't need to worry about it.
Okay.
Not even it took a few weeks before I started to really realize what actually happened. And the result of that evidentiary hearing was incredibly detrimental to me and my kids. What happened was that the judge comes out with this temporary custody arrangement where, I remember now, Richard's parents legally intervened. So after there was the preponderance of evidence against Richard by the state,
Okay.
Richard's parents got an attorney and they legally intervened.
How?
So technically speaking, if you're a grandparent, as far as I'm aware, you can legally intervene in a custody battle if you believe both parents are unfit. But at this hearing, when both of them were up on the stand, they only said good things about their son. They did not think he was unfit as a father, but that I was unfit.
What made you unfit? What did his parents say that made you unfit as a mom?
That I'm crazy, I'm coaching my kids, I'm a flight risk. It's all the same things that they've been saying.
I don't understand the crazy part. I can see where they got you on the flight risk.
Yeah.
Right? I can see that. But then obviously you have videos of yourself asking who's touched you and things like that, but they just used the clip. So,
Yep.
Okay, so nothing major. I don't see anything that's like huge that they're nailing. Like, so when just these grandparents, these LDS higher ranking members and perfect citizens of this small community are saying that you're crazy, their son is perfect, even though they have evidence that proves their son has molested his children.
Yes.
You're the crazy, unfit mom.
Yes.
That brought all this up and documented everything and submitted it all.
Exactly.
And did the right procedures. You're the crazy one that's a flight risk for protecting your children.
Exactly.
Right? I'm just tracking.
That's what that was the argument.
Okay.
And because none of the evidence that showed all of the things that I did to protect my kids, none of that was presented in trial in that hearing, the judge grants temporary physical custody to the grandma, only the grandma. I later found out that Richard's attorney submitted the forensic interviews to the judge. At that hearing, supposedly, Richard's attorney submitted the forensic interviews of my children. In my son's forensic interview, he mentions his OPA hurting his eyes. So OPA is mentioned in the forensic interview, and because he's mentioned in that interview, the judge decides to only grant the grandma.
But they live together. So this judge, even though the grandfather's been brought up as
in a forensic interview.
In the forensic interview from your children of doing things to them.
Yes.
This judge that's in the community with this guy.
Yes.
Grants his wife.
Yes.
Full custody?
Physical custody. Temporary physical custody.
And they live together. And their son that is molesting their children lives in the same home.
Yes. And in the forensic interviews, my son explicitly says the abuse happened at Oma and Opa's house. In their house.
The judge just granted them
to live in that house.
So this judge thinks it's safer for him to give the grandma custody of your children,
yes,
which the grandfather and father have both been brought up in forensic interviews of the children being molested by them.
The children.
That's safer than giving them to you as the mother.
Yes.
That's what
the judge did.
Is this the judge that has now been fired or been
suspended?
Yes. This is the same judge?
Yes.
Bro, there's so much corruption going on here.
Yeah.
This is going to be a fucking movie. This has got to be like a Netflix series. None of this makes sense.
And I have the receipts. That's the thing. I have
You better.
all
By these
of
claims,
the receipts.
you better have everything.
I have it all. And some days
wild.
I'm literally like, should I just like create a website and just upload everything to the website? All of the information?
Yes, you should. I'm going to get you in contact with a woman that's been on our show. I love you. I know you're probably going to see this. She's batshit crazy. in the best way possible. If there's ever the batshit crazy person that you ever want on your side, and I mean this is the most respect, she's it, because she digs and digs and digs and digs. and finds everything. That's the only reason I love having her on my side, because she will fucking find some shit. She's crazy. So in the best way possible, I'm going to get you guys contact now that rings a bell. So this, I don't even know where to, none of this makes sense.
The only way that it makes sense is that backdoor deals are being made. That's the only way it makes sense. Or that our system is shady and corrupt.
We know that's true. And we also know that the LDS church will do anything to cover anything up.
Yep.
And we also know that this judge is has been relieved of his duties as of now for who knows
Malpractice.
what. Malpractice. Damn, this is a perfect storm this is the perfect storm to lose your children.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. Does your ex have custody now, or is it still with the grandma? Where did it go from here? So she gets temporary physical custody.
Yep.
What are your rights at this point?
So we have joint legal custody, me and Richard, and then we're both granted 4 weekly visits for 4 hours each visit by a supervisor. Richard's supervisor is his mom. Court ordered that his mom gets to be the supervisor for his visits.
What?
And then I am court ordered to find a supervisor I have to pay. I have to find someone to pay. So basically, I have to find someone that the guardian ad litem, the kid's attorney, will approve of to supervise my visits.
How does that make sense?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Do you feel fucking crazy?
Sometimes.
Are you losing your mind?
Sometimes I'm like deteriorating.
I feel so horrible for you. None of this makes any sense. I feel so bad. And the reason I ask is because like I'm trying to just picture what's going on here, but I feel like literally these people are just they're connected. They have to be. That's all that makes sense to me, is that these people are so rude and connected. They pulled your kids from you. They stole your children from you. None of this if you were telling me everything from the best honest way that
Literally,
you remember all of this,
all the promises.
you say you have the receipts. The only thing that makes sense to me is this has to be corruption.
Yep.
There's no way that this makes sense any other way.
Yep.
Unless there's just that much negligent malpractice from everybody that's connected in this town. Those are your only two options. That these people are so fucking stupid at their job, and these attorneys,
There's no way.
that burned you horribly, or people are being paid off and people are in somebody's pockets, because there's no way. And then they give him supervised visits with his mom and you have to pay for yours?
Yeah.
What sense does that make? How does that work?
Yeah. I will say this. There are so many parents, so many parents in this country who are going through similar situations.
This gives me anxiety. Like, this is...
Yeah. I think family court is a big, fake, money laundering, lucrative business that will use children as leverage for money.
Well, as long as they got parents fighting.
And potentially trafficking children.
Oh, for sure. That's a whole... I'm trying to work on some people that are going to out that. CPS.
CPS
everything.
is so grody.
Yeah. Oh, dude. It's
so gross.
Yeah. Okay. So now you... Where are you now? Where are we now in this? Like, what's happening?
So we did that very first evidentiary hearing. Every evidentiary hearing and also trial, which is so messed up. Every hearing since that hearing, I am not allowed to bring up any evidence.
But none of that evidence
happened before that. So even though it never was presented, their loophole was that we already had an evidentiary hearing on May 17th that you had every opportunity to present any evidence you wanted. We cannot. That is the marker. If we already had a hearing for evidence, anything before that, you can't present. You can't enter into discovery.
Who said that? The judge?
That was opposing counsel's argument, and then judge.
But nothing was ever
permitted.
submitted.
Yeah. Apparently, opposing counsel submitted the forensic interviews, though, which is a lot. Just the Springfield ones, because we still don't even have access to the Provo Justice Center interviews. Those
okay,
are,
so that could work in your benefit because those haven't been technically submitted then.
yeah.
So now what?
But the DSS did review them, and it's in their report, those interviews. But anyways, so we're doing these supervised visits, and during one of the visits, there were multiple visits where my children would either say something alluding to something that I would write in my little log, or just behavior that was concerning. The worst was when we were at one of my supervisor's homes, and my son brought up how babies are made and the dad puts his medicine into the mom. That was a huge, for me, that was really connecting the dots.
For sure.
I'm pretty sure it was actually the very same day that he brought that up, that later during the visit, he asked me to call the police because he doesn't feel safe at Oma's house. He said, "Can we please call the police? I don't feel safe at Oma's." And I took that seriously. And the supervisor was just across the room. It was the playroom, and it was noisy in there. So I don't think she heard him say that explicitly. But I was like, we need to step out. And so we step out. And so I called the police. Initially, I first called the corporal over our investigation. He never answered. So then I just called 911. And I told him, hey, my son is currently residing at this house. There's been some stuff going on. He just asked me to call the police because he doesn't feel safe at his Oma's house. The police officer comes. He's got his full body cam. I have the body cam footage.
Mm-hmm.
I also have the police report. My son and the officer and then the supervisor are in one of the rooms, and then there's a dining room, and then there's the front room, and there's just this hallway. So I'm not in the actual room with them. I'm in this other room, and he is talking to this officer, and he says, "I don't feel safe at Oma's house." And the officer asked for him to explain why, and he didn't explain why. He didn't elaborate. In the report, in the written report, the police written report, it's not in the body cam footage. They fraudulently added information into their report saying that my son told the police officer that his Oma took away his gun and he was punished. My son never brought up a toy. My son never brought up that he was punished for anything. All he told that officer was that he was afraid at his Oma's house. Mm-hmm. So they fraudulently put that in.
Oh my God. Okay, so
and then my daughter decides, she out of nowhere says, "I want to talk to him." And so then after my son's done, then my daughter goes in and sits down and talks to him. And she gets like really shy and quiet. And he's like, "What do you want to talk to me about today?" And then she said, "My dad did appropriate things to me." And she's just 4 years old. And he's like, "What do you mean? Do you mean inappropriate?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he says, what did he do?" And then my daughter said he put his that is on the body cam footage. That is the third. She spoke to a forensic interviewer in Springfield. She spoke to a forensic interviewer in Provo. She disclosed sodomy during a trauma therapy appointment to her therapist, and now this police officer.
Make this make sense.
And I had to hire an expert who specializes in adolescent abuse, forensic interviews of little children, who understands how small children who've experienced abuse, how their brain works, and how the process is for them to start disclosing, if they even remember or if they even have the courage to disclose.
For sure.
And if a child feels safe, then they will disclose more and more often over time. That is what my children did. My daughter, she also says children don't make this stuff up. She says it's already so incredibly hard to train a 3 to 5 year old child to be an actor in a show, for them to act. For a child to be talking of such a serious situation and for them to keep remembering it.
Okay, let's say he's not. He hasn't. They're seeing this somewhere.
She believes it. She believes it happened.
They're hearing this. They're watching it. Something is happening for a 4-year-old little girl to say, my dad has put his blank in my blank. Like that a 4-year-old just doesn't just one day imagine this. Like they're witnessing this.
No,
they're
exactly.
witnessing it. So or it's happening to them.
Well,
either way is wrong.
I'll say this, and you can clip it out if you need to, but in my daughter's forensic interview with Provo, she mentions it happening, like the actual rape.
Okay.
And that they were at somebody's house, the name is blocked off, and that she started to bleed, and this person at the house had to get her a Band-Aid. And she says specifically what starts to bleed.
And none of this was submitted in the court.
No.
What the fuck is going on?
And those are the interviews I still can't access. But the DSS was able to access, and they have it all written out in their report that I do have access to.
And this judge has seen all of this.
He hasn't
seen any of this. Has any judge seen any of this evidence?
Not a valid amount of the evidence, no. I think all he reviewed was the forensic interviews. I think he is aware of the preponderance of evidence against Richard because I read the letter during a hearing. I don't think it was ever submitted until trial. It got submitted. I don't think the review board appellate court's hearing where they uphold the evidence against Richard, I don't think that was ever submitted.
Okay, so let's get to the trial.
Yeah.
How does this go down?
The trial was crazy. It was a 3-day trial.
Okay.
And I was keeping notes of everything. I was like, I'm just going to be in there and I'm going to write everything down because they're going to redact stuff. We had my expert witness there to testify. We had her report. We had everything ready. And technically trial, we were supposed to be allowed to present anything even before that May hearing. Like we were supposed to be allowed to present anything at all related to this case in any time frame. Okay. It was like a new retrial.
This is the same judge that has now been relieved.
Yes.
Okay.
My attorney dropped the ball a few times. Maybe by money, maybe by... Well, I got a new attorney after I discovered the shady business with that one lady. Okay. So I get this new attorney, and she has worked in certain cases dealing with court corruption. So I'm like, okay, I can trust her. Mm-hmm. Like months and months before trial, opposing counsel requests all of these interrogatory answers from me to like respond to all these different questions. Basically, so many of the questions were way beyond privacy limits, overly broad, just not something I was like, I have known this is completely irrelevant and completely private and broad and like, please object to these multiple of these interrogatories. Yeah. So I was under the understanding that she was going to respond with an objection to the interrogatories and that they were going to lessen their list of questions, but she never did. She never responded. So we're like weeks away before trial, And opposing counsel has motioned to compel to get me to respond to all these interrogatories. And my attorney was like, okay, we'll get those all done. And so then basically I'm required to respond to all these interrogatories super last minute. So I'm responding like some of the questions I specifically state like this is private and overbroad and irrelevant to the case. And so then like a few days before trial, she submits this response with her objections to the certain questions that I refuse to answer. Because the response to the interrogatories were so last minute and because they were asking for so much information. They were asking for literally any photograph you've ever taken of your children from this time to this time and anything related to your accusations with Richard, just like way overbroad.
Yeah.
So she's like, just make a Google Drive and put anything you can inside of it. We have that submitted just a few days before trial. Okay. And so they're able to argue, we never got to review any of this because it's so much information that they requested.
Okay. But
my attorney failed to
get it to them in time.
Get it all that stuff that I didn't feel comfortable sharing. And their argument was because it was so last minute before trial that none of this evidence will be touched on. And the judge approved. So basically,
crooked judge.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically they found some loophole and the judge approved that anything that was not new evidence that had not already been presented during any of our hearings previous will not be allowed to be litigated.
I don't understand why a judge would accept that. I mean, obviously, I don't know everything, obviously, clearly that a judge knows legal-wise, but I feel as like just a human being, and we're dealing with a case of children that have been molested and raped by their father.
Right.
I wouldn't care if it was the morning of. I'd be like, we need to see what this evidence is. And then if it's nothing, then you throw it out.
Yep.
But if you have new evidence of your kids coming forth a year later,
yep,
with in supervised visitation
yep,
meetings or
yep,
like that, to me, like as just a human being that we have this little thing inside of us that we just want to do something right. Like, how is this judge like, yep, I agree with that, I'll take that. I want to see what evidence this is, because if you're claiming
literally,
because what you're claiming that your exes did to your children is a huge accusation.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Right or wrong, what
Right.
you're saying about this man is massive. And then what they're saying about
Yep.
you being crazy and unfit to be a mom is not on the level of severity of being accused of being a pedophile.
Yep.
But both sides need to be proven truth or
Yes.
false, right?
Yes.
That's how I feel as just a normal citizen in this
Yes.
country that depends on our court systems.
And there,
You see what I'm saying? And it's not like,
no,
but at the same time, if it comes down to your lawyer screwing you on that, then like that sucks.
yep,
Like that falls on these kids' safety.
yep,
So I don't know where it is, but that makes sense. I feel like as a judge, you'd be like, okay, cool, we're gonna take an extra day, overlook your shit,
literally,
look over the evidence.
literally. Okay, we will wait until this day that we are all available. Then we'll have trial.
That's why this judge, and then the fact that he's now been relieved of malpractice, that's so suspicious.
Yep.
So then all this goes out. They don't take any of the new evidence.
Yep. But we did have new evidence. We had my expert witness present to present her report. In her report, she goes, and we did depositions before trial. So opposing counsel got to ask her questions, and then my counsel got to ask her questions. We did the whole thing in prep for her to be an expert witness in trial. And in her report, she even talks about how, which I find important, is when a child recants abuse, that statement is just as important as a child disclosing abuse.
Okay.
You take it as equal weight. Like,
Okay.
something dangerous and bad has happened to this child, and it needs to be investigated.
For sure.
we have her ready to present, and then opposing counsel comes out and says, we object to her presenting because of this tiny file that we were not able to open to review. So apparently back when they've known she's going to be testifying for a long time, they requested her full report. Prior to depositions, they requested all the things she's reviewed, all the things. They get everything, but apparently one tiny little file was malfunctioning that contained one of the little clips of my children that I'm sure they already have access to because they have the DSS reports and all these other things. So they're claiming that this malfunctioned little clip didn't work in their email, and so my attorney's paralegal forwards them the clip that's functioning so that they can review it. They all, in that hearing, they all denied ever receiving that email from my paralegal. My attorney showed me, not my paralegal, but my attorney showed me the email receipt that her paralegal emailed this little file to all of them. Apparently none of them got it, so they never got to review this tiny file. And because of that, they requested that the expert is not allowed to present and that we're not allowed to present her report. And instead of the judge being like, okay, we won't have her talk about that single little file, but we will have her explicitly talk about the forensic interviews that she reviewed that we've all had access to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? No, she was completely barred. She never got to even get on the stand to talk. We couldn't submit her report.
Bro, this is an inside job. This is 100% an inside job.
Yeah.
That judge is 100% crooked.
Yep. Yep.
We're okay. Now that you so continue. I want to get to where we're at now. Like now.
So we have our whole trial. It was a complete shit show. So much evidence was not presented. They even managed to. We have this, Richard and I back reverse a year ago, we are court ordered to get psychological evaluations, both of us. So we are assigned to this random psychologist based out of Springfield. And I remember calling them and asking, is there anything that you need me to bring? Or anything I need to do to prepare? No. Okay. I go in, I do my whole psychological evaluation, and then when they send in both of our evaluations, I'm looking at them and reading over it, and in my evaluation it says my diagnoses from my tests show that I have, temporary anxiety and depression brought on by life circumstance, basically.
You're losing your children. Okay.
Yes. And then it says that my diagnosis does not interfere with me being a fit parent.
Okay. But
the psychological evaluator adds his personal opinion, and he says, even against the fact of evidence not being there to back her claims, she still believes this has happened to her kids. It appears she's on this crusade of sorts to protect her children, and also that she seemed very guarded in her evaluation. So that's his little written up report. I go through and I look, there is a list of all the documents he reviews before and after for the evaluation, for each of our evaluations, any type of evidence, related documentation that the attorneys thought that he should review.
Yeah.
All he reviewed were motions filed by opposing counsel against me. So like the restraining order they filed against me, anything that strengthens their argument that I'm unfit and that I'm crazy. And he never reviewed the forensic interviews of my children. He never reviewed the preponderance of evidence against Richard. He never reviewed the appellate court hearing that upheld his preponderance of evidence and has his name on the registry. He never reviewed my restraining orders against him. He never reviewed anything that in any way, shape, or form showed that my claims have backed evidence. That I'm not just making this up, that my kids have disclosed stuff to all these different professionals. And also the medical side of things, just like the amount of evidence that he should have reviewed, he did not review. And so he was able to put in his little opinion and say that there's no evidence to back her claims. She's being guarded in her responses because apparently I tested out of the average in some of the testing. Specifically, he thought it was weird that I tested out of the average with how I felt towards Richard, which, I'll be honest, I have love for him and his family. Like, the way that I view them, specifically Richard, not so much his dad. The way that I view Richard is like my son growing up and never having someone advocate and fight for his safety. Mm-hmm. And just becoming a pawn to his dad. And so that's what this psychological evaluator has in his report for me. But still, technically speaking, I'm clear. And in trial, this expert witness comes as their expert witness. So they hire him out as their expert witness, which is...
But isn't he supposed to be neutral?
Exactly. He's supposed to be neutral.
Is this guy from...
Springfield? Yeah.
So he's from close... Okay.
Yeah, so he gets on the stand and he starts giving his professional opinion about how everything I said is crazy and how I'm this awful, terrible mother, that I'm guarded, that I'm all these things. And what's interesting is I get on the stand and I'm asked all these questions and I admitted, yes, I was guarded when I took my psychological evaluation because all I've witnessed through this whole proceeding is shady behavior from all of you professionals.
Yep.
And here's this court-ordered psychological evaluator that is ordered by the court that I have seen enough fraudulent, weird, shady behavior that I have to go and have an appointment with him. But I was honest. Yep. I was guarded. And my energy was probably guarded, but I was honest and I answered every test question honestly. But because I was out of the average, I'm potentially maybe a threat. I don't understand it.
So all that gets used against you.
Yes.
Which just puts another nail in the coffin for you.
Yes. So I get to present no evidence to support anything that I'm claiming, and the psychological evaluator is being weird and shady against me too. It just felt like everyone was against me. That whole courtroom was against me.
For sure. And so that's when they decided to pull your rights from your children?
Yes.
I know this is going to be hard for you.
That's okay.
What was it like hearing this verdict, the judge that's now been fired for malpractice say that you were not fit to be a mom?
I was stripped fully. I lost even my legal custodial rights. Everything has been stripped. I have no say in my kids' lives. And all I was granted was every Wednesday evening I get 2 hours of supervised visit time that Richard approves of. The supervisor, Richard, gets to approve of who supervises my visits.
Is he a dick about that? Is he just denying everybody?
Yeah.
Shocker.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
This is the most fucked shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, this is... The fact is this is happening is
And all the while, he owns and operates a facility for youth, and he is the legal guardian for those kids.
These parents are signing him legal guardian of their children?
He is the temporary legal guardian of the students. He's one of the few adults allowed to be alone with the students and transport them.
And he's molesting his own children.
Yeah.
Oh, my fuck. This is... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And that facility's still running to this day?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
He has kids at his facility.
It's the Ozark Trails Academy, yes.
Ozark Trails Academy. And
yeah. And it's in Douglas County, Missouri.
So what do you need?
Apparently there's an investigation by the Douglas sheriff. I mean, not apparently. I know that it's going on. Because of the amount of calls that the sheriffs get from this facility of kids trying to harm themselves, run away, all the things that are going on, they're the ones called. And so the sheriff is like, something terribly awful is happening in that facility.
Money laundering facility. And
These kids are not okay. And then since I've gone public with all of this, students have actually reached out to me too.
Students of his facility?
Students who have left, who are no longer in the facility.
Oh, if there are students from, what is this place called again?
Ozark Trails.
Ozark Trails in Missouri.
Yeah.
If you are a student and you have a story, hit me up. I would love to know more about this guy. I want to know more about the judge in this town. That to me is the biggest.
Well, there's multiple judges. There was the Stephen Prevett judge who pushed all of the DSS stuff to be dismissed against Richard.
But all the judges are from this town.
They work in that town as judges.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
we need a judge, or we need an attorney to step up. That's what you need. You need a lawyer, some big shot lawyer that wants to bury all of these motherfuckers to the ground. If this is all legit and what you're claiming, and you say you have the receipts, you got the videos, you got the pictures, you got the testing, the rape kit, everything that I feel a mother should have done in this scenario. Like, I'm trying to figure.
Yeah.
And I'll call a spade if I think you fuck something up. It has to be corruption. It has to be fraud. It has to be the church covering this up. It's got to be something. So we need an attorney that wants to take this on, because this is going to be a shit show, I feel, once they start digging into the pieces and who's connected, and this judge that granted your ex that's a pedophile full custody over you, and now he's been let go for malpractice. Like, fuck no. Like, none of this makes any sense. This is
no. And it's not over either. Ever since, so we had our judgment, and then I had my supervised time with my kids, and I had recorded an episode with a podcaster out of Utah, and I never thought that I would actually have them publish it. It was more just for insurance if anything happened to me or my kids.
Okay.
I think it was like 3 back-to-back full-day visits with my kids. That was the most I'd seen my kids in a long time.
Yeah.
And it was so eye-opening to see how much their behaviors have deteriorated.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And I was like, oh, shit. I can't go on like this because my kids are deteriorating. They're not okay. And this is not going to work out for any of us. So I reached out to the podcaster, and we ended up recording a second updated video to go along with, and they released that first video, and then they released the second one. And it's showing receipts. It's showing documents.
What's the name of this podcast so that people can check it out?
We Are the People Utah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
They do a lot of exposure on corruption, specifically within the Mormon church and within the legal system and within just authority, people in positions of power who are abusing their powers.
Okay, so that's getting some traction then.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is going to get some fucking traction, I guarantee you. Like, this is...
I hope.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do anymore, because now that I've gone public, they have submitted all of these motions against me, basically reopening our case, and they are the motions against me are that I'm in contempt of court, that me sharing all of this information is illegal because the court security level is raised, which I'm not under any specific gag order. I never signed a gag order or anything.
You're just telling your side of the story.
Exactly. And also, literally, the Declaration of Independence talks about how it is our right and our duty to expose and destroy corruption.
Yup.
So I'm standing on that right and duty. Like, this is not okay. This is happening. Like, let's fix the problem. But they're also, they filed a motion, like a restraining order against me, to try and make it so that I can never see my kids again or talk to them ever again. And they also submitted a motion to modify the judgment to make it so that the only supervision that I can have with my kids has to be confined in a professional supervisor's office with a professional supervisor who does this as a profession.
I guess my biggest question is, like, I know some huge piece of shit parents that are, like, cracked out of their, I don't know them personally, but neglecting their children, on drugs, just abandoning them in the house for hours and days on end. They go to court and the fucking systems are like, oh, you're okay. We're going to come and check on your house every now and then. Meanwhile, you lose full custody of your kids because you out their father for being a pedophile.
Yep.
And then they turn it on you for being crazy because you asked your kids in a video who touched you. And then you lose everything over that. That does not make fucking sense to me at all.
No.
I could see if they got you for you're an addict, you're abusing your children, you're abandoning them.
Yeah.
Anything else that they could have had proof that you did, then I could be like, okay, the fact that you took your kids and moved back to Utah while the court case was going on, I would have done the same thing and I would have recommended to do the same thing, but I can see how they can use that as kidnapping.
Well, they didn't even have an actual argument on that, and that's not something that they...
But if that was a thing, they would have come after you immediately.
Yeah.
Like that, you would have gotten there and they would have come right after you.
Yeah.
So, like, nothing that they used against you to pull your rights as a mother, none of that
was valid or weighty in the slightest.
None of this makes any sense to me. So now that where we're at, you've gone through all this shit. We're here. You're on the show. We're trying to get the word out. What do you need? What help? Where are we at with you right now in this moment of coming on this show? Like, how can we help as this audience, as our supporters and followers? What can we do for you? Because this is a fucked story.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things is just sharing this and, like, making sure more and more people hear it and it gets enough traction. An attorney that is actually going to be honest and not get paid off by the Mormon church would be really cool.
Yeah.
Or not be afraid to be threatened would be really cool.
There's got to be an attorney out there. 100%. There is an attorney out there that's going to be like, yeah, like, absolutely, I'll take this on. Because right now, I mean, that's been your problem, where these attorneys are just not filing your evidence, not fighting for you, just pretty much just
they're
being
like
there.
playing both sides. Yeah.
That doesn't.
Yeah. It's been bad. And then prayers are great. I love prayers. Honestly, I'm so fed up. I'm so sick of it. I don't know. Like, I don't have the answer. The system is so broken. The amount of parents who... It sounds like a 1 in a million situation. Like, it sounds like, how could this happen to this one person? It's got to be small town politics and corruption.
It's everywhere.
The amount of parents that I know who jump on group Facebook calls to rally and come up with ideas to get their kids back because they've been falsely accused. Like, family courts, our system uses parents' love for their children as a means to make money.
100%. And it's horrible. Kids should never be used as pawns. They should never be used as a tool.
No.
Ever.
No. I feel like every family court judge should be investigated. Every family court attorney should be investigated. If any of them have any type of fraudulent behavior, they should face time in jail.
For sure.
Like, actual serious consequences need to start happening, or this is never going to stop. And we are the people. They work for us, and they are using our children and trafficking our children and putting our children in unsafe situations. And I can't do this by myself anymore. Like, I haven't been. I've had a lot of support from, like, family and my parents and stuff. But, like, I feel like I'm the one that has to go to these stupid torture chamber hearings and listen to these evil, evil people spit out venom of false accusations. And all the while they are keeping my innocent babies from me, and they are in an unsafe place. Like, I know they're not safe.
Yeah.
And there's no answers. Like, law enforcement isn't doing anything. The state dismissed all their evidence against him. Like, what can I do now?
Keep fighting.
Yeah.
That's your only option. You have to keep fighting, and you reaching out to people like us and other platforms that'll give you a voice and an opportunity to tell your story, because I don't even know where to, this is wild to me. Like, this is the shit you hear about, and then you're like, oh man, there's no way. And you're living it. You have to keep fighting. You cannot stop. Your babies need you more than ever, and I hope to God that something comes from this episode, that we're able to find you a headhunter attorney, or TikTok needs to dig into this and see who this judge is.
Yeah.
And the women of TikTok need to start doing their little fucking investigative. Yeah, I guess investigation would be investigative journalism work on finding who these judges are and how they're connected to this family. Like, this is wild.
This is like a case closed case for, like, FBI. Like, FBI has access to everything. The amount of dirt that I have, and I'm just a person that married into this family, like, yeah. I know for a fact tax fraud happened because my car was tax write-off under Judges Robert Jones's eye surgery center. Like, they wrote my car off as a tax write-off. I never once worked at that eye surgery center. Like, that's just my little piece of evidence that I have against these people. Someone who actually has power to do literal serious deep digging, it would be so quick. It would be so quick. Okay, Judge Linksweiler, you're in prison. Richard Jones, you're in prison. Robert Jones, you're in prison. Sandy Jones probably should be in prison too, and that sucks because I feel for that woman. I feel like she has been a prisoner her whole life. The amount of these people, all these attorneys, the harm that is being done, the trafficking of my children is unforgivable.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, our system, our country pretends like it has all these laws in place to protect us, but they are just laughing at us and doing whatever the fuck they want.
I am so sorry for your situation and everything that you have gone through and you're going to go through, because you still have a huge fight ahead of you.
Probably the rest of my life.
Let's hope not, but hopefully something comes from this and your other podcasts that you've done, and I would keep getting your voice out there and just being heard. And I'll get you in contact with one of our previous guests that'll maybe help you do that, because she is a fighter, and once she's got something in her crosshairs, you're fucking done. So
okay.
I'm sorry. Can I give you a hug?
Yeah.
I feel that this has been... I am so sorry that you have to go through this, and don't ever stop fighting for your kids.
I won't.
They deserve it. They deserve the best, and I know they're young, and I hope it all works out. It's going to. It has to.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, it has to. So.
Well, God's promise is He'll make all things for our good if we seek Him.
Yep.
And that's all I do. I just seek Him.
Just my advice, not ever being in a situation like this, but having quite a few friends that have gone through some pretty horrific things of being accused and coming out on top. Keep your cool.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Yeah. The rage bait is crazy.
Do not fall for anything.
Yeah.
Do not do anything that is going to give them anything else.
Yep.
Because that's all they're doing right now. They're waiting for you to slip up and be like, here you go, Judge. Remember what we said.
Or they want me to kill myself, which the amount of parents.
No, not an option.
It won't happen. It won't happen. It won't happen.
No.
Never.
No. Just keep your head on. I know if you got to just get with your parents and your mom or whoever and just cry and talk or whatever it is, get it out of you.
Yeah.
Don't bottle this shit.
Yep.
Keep communicating. Build a website. Get your social going. Put it all out there. If you are claiming everything that you are claiming to be is true and have the evidence for it, don't ever fucking stop fighting. If you stop fighting, then you're admitting defeat, and that means they won, and they were right the whole time.
Yeah.
That's how I look at things. And so, good luck to you. We'll be praying for you.
Thank you.
I hope this is the first time that this doesn't have a happy ending right now.
Yeah.
But it will. It has to.
Yeah.
If you keep fighting. And when this all comes out, and I hope it's very soon, but if no matter what time it is, and I wanna follow up with you and see when our updates and what's going on. I hope to God we're gonna put something out there, and hopefully somebody can reach out to you and
Cool.
get you the help that you're needed. Because
If
do you have a GoFundMe? Do you have anything that we can tag or?
I don't have a GoFundMe. What's been happening is just donations directly to my PayPal or Venmo.
Okay, I would possibly maybe start something that way.
Okay.
People can help support you, because the woman community when it comes to this type of shit is strong.
Okay.
That's what I've learned. They come together and they rally. So,
Okay.
I know it's really hard to see any positivity. Just pray, talk to God, keep your chin up.
Yep.
Don't stop fighting. If you need us for anything, we're here.
Thank you so much.
I definitely want to have another round of this when we have better news, and hopefully some balls get rolling and not dropped.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
thank you for your time. I know this is hell to come through and talk about this, but it needs to be done. And I know this is going to be a really tough episode for our listeners, but this is the reality of what's going on in this country. And this is what Wild Chaos is about, is giving ordinary people a platform to be able to share some stories. So not every one of them are going to have an happy ending immediately, but this is the point of this, is to create a happy ending, so at least somebody can just pick this up and look at this case, see where something went wrong, see where judges are corrupt, and how the church is tied into this, and everything else that's going on with this wild ass story in life that you're living through right now. I feel so horrible for you. So travel safe and get home. And then we're going to get this out there. So
thank you so much.
Hopefully we can make a difference.
I really appreciate it.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry that you're dealing with this. Truly.
We're just exposing the evil, I guess.
That's what we do.